Where you may be and however you may be watching, thank you so much. No review tonight, but there was plenty of news going on in the world that we need to discuss because everything in the last couple of weeks from the head coach of the Michigan Wolverines getting caught in some shit and the death of Rob Reiner and all kinds of other chaos going on in the world. I figured why not go live and have a little kind of fireside chat. My host tonight because we're going to do a little bit of fireside thing tonight. We'll have a little bit of fun. But joining me tonight, Casey Israel.
What's up, my friend? I'm gonna, that battling a nasty cold, so I'm gonna sound like shit on the air today. So
that's right. You sound like shit whenever you talk, anyway. So,
but yeah, I'm shocked that I got an invite. Has hell frozen over today?
Well, I gotta give some love to the less fortunate YouTubers every now and again, and today that was you. But joining us later on will probably be Alex Payne. He's eating some grub. He's getting it in, and then I forgot I left my overhead light on, so the lighting's a little screwed up. I'll get that in a minute. But just a little bit of a hangout tonight, just to kill some time, a little bit extra watch time to satisfy the YouTube gods. But like I said, a lot going on. The plane crash that killed Greg Biffle and his family, the NASCAR driver. That's all news. It's only about 48 hours old. I'm still not exactly sure what's happening with that. Obviously, Rob Reiner's death is still out there. I mean, the legal stuff surrounding it. Who did it is really the biggest, most disappointing shock of this whole thing. Sharon Moore. That guy had like the worst day ever. He woke up in the morning and he was the head coach of the Michigan Wolverines. He went to bed in a jail cell for all kinds of crazy shit. And then, of course, Jake Paul finally get his fucking jaw jacked the way that he's been deserving it for quite some time. And not to mention, plenty of other things that have come up over the last several days. But we're gonna have some fun tonight. In case the first thing we'll go into, and we've already kind of talked about it a little bit, was Jake Paul getting absolutely rocked. I mean, that's one of that image right there is the new image that needs to go on the dollar bill. I would be 100% happy if this is the image that just takes over the internet, and it kind of is. Jake Paul, according to our friends at People Magazine, Jake Paul has had to go to the hospital with a broken jaw after losing to Anthony Joshua at a heavyweight fight. Let's see. It goes on to say that the YouTuber, 28 years old, and former unified heavyweight champion, 36 years old, were scheduled to go 8 rounds in Miami on the 19th yesterday. Having knocked down Paul 5 times in the fight, Joshua finally landed a hard right punch on Paul during the 6th round, securing his win. This is Paul's second loss in his fighting career, and his first by knockout. He did post his X-ray on Instagram as he revealed a boxing match left his jaw broken in 2 places. Couldn't happen to a nicer guy. I don't know what to say about it. I mean, Casey, you were kind of gabbing about this fight a little bit earlier. Give me your thoughts on the fight and Jake Paul finally having to actually fight somebody for a change.
Yeah, I mean, obviously there's rumors. Like now we have to really think about like were those fights actually staged or rigged? Like because there's always those. They were saying in the contracts that you can't knock out Jake Paul in these fights. I mean, if that's true, then what about this fight? He got knocked out. He got knocked down 4 times in the last 2 rounds. So if that was true, then he would definitely be not following that contract. But I was shocked because I was like, "God, it's gonna be one of those stupid ties." Or did they technically beaten Mike Tyson?
I think that they ended up drawing, or he went on point, or Paul went on points or something. I mean, Bottom line is that fight was staged anyway. I was talking to my girlfriend earlier, and she was asking what all the hubbub was about it, and I was like, Jake Paul fixes his fights. He puts it in the contract that they're not allowed to knock him out, which makes them basically glorified sparring sessions. Which is that's what it is, and say it. Say that's what it is. I'm okay with that if you're being honest with me.
Oh yeah.
But if you're going out there and saying shit like, oh yeah, it's a real fight. We're going out there. It's a real ring, real gloves, the whole thing. We're really gonna fight. And then you watch that fight with Tyson. There was times where Tyson was like, he was squared up, and then he would bite the thumb on his glove to keep from throwing that jab that opens him up for the hook or the cross. It would just wipe people out. But and as soon as I saw that, I was like, this fight's rigged. Tyson would have killed him. And and now with the full belly and ready to go after both Jake Paul for being a douchebag and Casey for equal reasons. From the rafters, Alex Payne. He's probably still eating though.
I like squirrels.
You like squirrels?
Like
yeah.
squirrels.
But yeah, it's the whole
Who is Jake Paul? What even is
Jake Paul? He's a douchebag who is famous. He's people that's famous for being famous. Well, I mean, him and his brother. What the fuck did they do? I'm gonna go find out now because I don't know. I forget where the hell he started.
Why did you call him a douchebag? Maybe he's a douche sack.
Oh,
because he is. He's a douchebag.
Yeah.
He's a douchebag. He's a piece of shit. But
if you know who
let me go.
if you know who he is, if you know who he is, you would say he's a douchebag. Like
that's okay. That's where he started. I forgot. Okay, yeah, the Paul brothers made pretty much got famous putting videos on Vine back in the day. And when Vine collapsed, they went to YouTube and became big. And then eventually, but he started out doing Disney Channel movies and shit like that. But he's done different things. I mean, but now I'm not gonna shit on the guy's athletic ability. He was a very good wrestler in high school. I mean, the guy's fit. He knows what he's doing. But my problem is, why are you signing contracts with guys like Mike Tyson and Weather for glorified sparring sessions that you're contractually not allowed to lose? Because I watched that Jake Paul fight, and there were some times because I've noticed that I used to watch boxing a lot when I was young, not so much after I got out of high school, but he would spread his arms across too far, and that leaves you open for a lot of like uppercuts and jabs and things that will set up like the punches that will end the fight. And I saw that happen a couple times. It happened twice in one round against Mayweather, and Mayweather didn't throw anything. And I'm like, dude, I can see it. I fucking suck. I don't know how to box. I'm watching it on TV and I can see this shit. So why aren't somebody like Floyd Mayweather, who some people say, and I very much disagree, is one of the greatest boxers of all time. I don't even think he's top 10, to be honest. But it's like, why would Floyd Mayweather miss that twice in one round? But I can see it. And Mayweather, because that's the kind of thing, if Mayweather does that, he's gonna absolutely eat that guy's lunch. But he let him go twice. So I don't know, man. And then Tyson, like I said, he was biting the thumb on his glove to keep from throwing that left, because he would like line up and you're like this, and you'd see him. And as soon as I saw that, I was like, dude, he's biting the glove to not throw that left. And he never landed that signature uppercut, because I was watching Tyson train for that fight, and I was like, damn, his hands are still fast as fuck. Like that, like I couldn't even see half of his punches that he was throwing with his trainer. And it's like, and I'm not even sure he was going full speed. He was just like throwing hands just to get the timing and everything down. So I don't know. I don't know. It's.
Remember,
but like I said,
like put it in his contract away. He couldn't.
Well, that's exactly what it was. He was contractually obligated to not beat his ass in that fight. And at that point, everybody was like, well, if you're contractually obligated to not lose this fight, why am I watching? Well, what's the point in this anyway?
Then would it be called like an exhibition fight than a normal professional fight? Because that would mean
I don't know what they're calling this. I mean, I guess these are official fights because it officially goes in his record. But if they really are contractually arranged to where he can't lose or can't get knocked out or whatever, then that to me is fight fixing. That should be big time.
Yeah.
And you should go after both guys in the ring, all of their trainers, all of the fucking the fucking, what do they call them? The organizers, the managers, everybody, even boxing association, the WBA, go after them. That to me is fraud.
Dex says he's in the chat saying he wants to join. Okay. I just think it's crazy. I'm like, if this is not a real sanctioned fight, then it shouldn't be on the record. I mean, it should be known. Like, well, these are just sparring or an exhibition fight. Like, this is not considered to
Wait,
be a
so
real.
it's on like the record?
Yeah, I
It is a
mean,
recorded fight. So I mean, to the best of my knowledge, this all.
this was
So
allegedly.
that
This
would
is.
so that would fall into like in the list of losses that would be in there.
Well, I mean, to Tyson, it's not going to really matter because he was pretty much retired by the time he fought Jake Paul. But and Tyson's not going to go for a heavyweight title at his age. But and Floyd,
Yeah, but that's
I
still an
mean,
extra mark in his losses category for something that
yeah,
literally he couldn't win. Like it was in his contract that he cannot even try to win.
well, I mean, I'll tell you one thing. I'll be willing to lose for a sad price. If you pay me $1 million, I'll take a fall. I'll be like, hey,
Well, that's what I'm saying. Is if it was one of those things where he was putting somebody over or giving somebody a shot,
mm,
and the outcome didn't really matter, then maybe I would be less annoyed. But I mean, these things were built up as being like real fights, and it doesn't really come out until afterwards that they were contractually rigged so that he couldn't get knocked out or some shit. And it's like, what? Why am I watching this then? If it's already established that he can't knock you out, or you guys have to fight to a draw, then you're wrestling. You're WWE now. You're
pretty
not
much.
boxing. You're not WBA. You're WWE. You're combat sports entertainment, not actually boxing. So don't lie to me. Don't lie to the people who are paying for whatever. Don't lie to the people who don't lie to anyone. That to me is fraud. And I think we're just kind of allowing it to happen because whatever.
Well, I mean, people like Floyd Mayweather and Tyson, they're both like I said, they're Tyson was pretty much retired, and Floyd Mayweather was the same thing too. I mean, he was pretty much retired too. So
Yeah,
yeah,
but these guys retired can still kill like 75% of the population of the United States if they got
oh
him.
yeah,
Especially Tyson. Like I said, if you watch footage of him training, I mean, he's not the Tyson of like 1989, 1990. He's not that. He's not
no,
Iron Mike like that anymore. But like,
no,
he's still fast as shit. I mean, those punches were landed hard. I mean, he wasn't just hitting; they were popping. As I was watching some of those training videos that he was putting up on the internet, and I was like, "Good God, I still not want to fight that guy. I don't give a fuck
no,
I don't give a fuck if he's 55 years old. He's smoking weed a bunch now. That guy would still kick my ass."
yeah,
Listen, I've known some 55-year-olds that you would never want to fight a day in your life, and they weren't even professionals like
Dude,
he
my uncle
supposedly
Bobby,
is. So
my uncle Bobby,
55 don't mean nothing.
yeah, my uncle Bobby, as he was coming up on 80. I still wouldn't want to fight that guy. Still cut, still physical, still
Yeah.
doing one-arm push-ups. I wouldn't want to fight that guy. I wouldn't want to fight him at all. But
that's
yeah,
the
it
thing.
just
I mean,
aggravates me that he's been such a fucking bitch about selecting who he fight. This was my problem with Floyd Mayweather, ironically enough. It's like he was always dodging the guys that were going to really challenge him. He was only fighting guys that were kind of on the back end of their career. Like he could have fought fucking who was the one guy everybody wanted to fight forever?
Pacquiao,
Who?
Pacquiao,
Oh, yeah, Pacquiao.
Pacquiao.
Yeah, Manny Pacquiao. Like Manny Pacquiao wanted to fight him for like 15 years, and he kept coming up with reasons not to fight Pacquiao. It got to the point where Pacquiao was just like, I will let you have 90% of the fucking winnings. He's like, I will, wherever you want to fight, if you want to fight at 3:00 in the morning, if you want to fight on Mars, put something on paper so we can get the fucking ring. And he kept coming up with reasons not to do it. And he waited until Pacquiao had lost like 3 of his last 4 fights. His shoulder was fucked up from something. Pacquiao was like 50 years old. Then he was
Yeah,
like, okay, I'll fight Pacquiao now. It's like he's a shell of what he once was. You're not fighting prime Pacquiao, the one who could have beat you. You're fighting broken ass Pacquiao, who's 3 minutes away from being in a fucking walker in an old folks' home. You're not fighting you're not fighting a guy who can beat you. You're fighting a guy who you know is like already hobbled and broken and old and slow, and he's on his way out. You waited until he had 1 foot and 4 toes out the door before you're like, okay, I'll fight you. It's like there's no point in that was my problem with Mayweather. It's like Ali would have been like, get in the ring, let's go. He said, I want to negotiate bullshit. Let's get in the ring. Get in the ring. Put some gloves on. Let's fight. I want the best fighter in the ring right now. Let's go. That was Ali. That's why Ali was great. He didn't fucking back down from nobody. Yeah, Ali lost some fights, but he didn't back down from anybody. That's why I think Ali's the greatest boxer of all time.
The thing is, boxing is not like it was when we were growing up in the 80s and 90s. Boxing is nowadays is actually about entertainment, pretty much. It's not the same, especially
it's not real anymore. That and UFC's here now, and UFC has changed the game a lot. So,
once UFC,
I don't even know a single recent boxer's name. Like a lot of these boxers, you didn't even watch boxing, and you knew who they were. I couldn't tell you a single person who boxes today. Not a single human being who boxes today.
Here's the problem is with boxing specifically. This is just how I see it. I could be wrong. Anybody out there who knows more about boxing than me? No, it doesn't suck. Here's the problem. Boxing is still good. There's actually 2 problems. One is UFC. UFC got really popular and took a lot of the attention away from boxing, which is not necessarily a bad thing. It's not necessarily a bad thing. Hold on, Tex. Let me fix this. I'll do something. Give me a second. But it's not necessarily a bad thing. The other part is there's no good heavyweights.
Oh, you'll do something to him in a second, huh?
there's no good heavyweights anymore. That's part of the problem. Because the spectacle of boxing, the promotion of boxing, was always on the heavyweights. Yes. And the guys, and that's why the big heavyweight fight, there was always the undercard always had some good lightweight or middleweight fights on it. Great technical boxers. When the heavyweights all started to go to UFC and do that shit, or the Ultimate Fighting or whatever, the strongman competitions, whatever it is, they all went to that instead of boxing, and people stopped watching because the marketing wasn't there. Now the main title, now the main match on the card was a couple of middleweights, and people weren't exactly enthralled in that because those guys aren't like big hulking steroid, no neck, no penis kind of guys. So that's one of the things that hurt, and people weren't watching the good, smaller technical fighters. They wanted to see Tyson go out there and end it by round 2. That's what they wanted to see. And then UFC gave them that. They didn't want to watch these 2 guys that are 180 pounds throw hands for like a solid 10 or 12 rounds and have like good, long technical fights. Nobody wanted to watch that. They all want the instant gratification. And me, when I was still watching fights, like when I was in my 20s and stuff here and there, I'm like, I want to watch these guys. But those big, muscular guys, the Brock Lesnar's and guys like that, they eventually all started going into UFC instead of going to boxing.
Yeah.
That became the thing. And so it's kind of the reason why baseball and football were always the big sports in America, and then all of a sudden like hockey started to get bigger, and then basketball got bigger, like especially in the 90s when Jordan was in his prime and all that, and then soccer kind of came in. That's why it seems like every sport has kind of dropped a little bit in the U.S. because there's so much competition. It's kind of the same thing, because for most of my life, it was baseball, football, as far as the professional stuff is concerned. Basketball came in a distant third, and then it was kind of everything else. Like, people were hockey fans, but hockey was still kind of middling in the U.S. for a long time. But, yeah, it's just, I don't understand it. I don't get it.
No, I was going to bring up a point, but, let me ask you something. Like, you ever pay for a Mike Tyson fight?
Oh, yeah. I paid to watch both the fights with Evander Holyfield, including the ear bite.
But minus those 2 fights, he's famous, like you said, to knock the people out in the first 3 rounds, right? So, like, don't you feel like you got ripped off if the match only lasted 2 or 3 rounds instead of
It would bother me, but I'm still watching 2 really good heavyweights of the 3 or 4 heavyweights that were out there.
Well, see, that's the thing. You're watching it to see 2 people fight. You can't be upset that one guy lost a fight fast, because that's the whole point of watching it to begin with. If you wanted to watch them draw it out, you might as well just watch wrestling instead. And to be honest, I rather watch wrestling for that same reason, because if you want to see technical skill of fighting and an interesting battle, you need to watch wrestling. And if you want to see 2 men feel up each other for 5 minutes and hopefully knock one out, you watch UFC or boxing.
Well, the problem is wrestling's fake. Everybody knows it.
But I mean, I still like. Luckily,
Yeah, but that's what I'm saying though. But if you enjoy the art of fighting, you would enjoy wrestling more because then you get to see a lot more. It's
When
like
I was
watching an
watching,
action movie. An action movie is as entertaining.
but when I was watching boxing back in the day, I was also watching wrestling and enjoying it. That's the thing. Back in the 80s, early 90s, I was watching wrestling too.
Yeah,
I kind of fell out of
and
wrestling.
that's what I was answering.
Trying to.
but
Oh, and I was saying that's why I was answering Casey's question about the like feeling ripped off because you're watching people have a real fight. You can't ever say how long a real fight is going to last,
that's
rather if it's
true.
5 seconds or 45 minutes.
That's true. I just like. I mean, luckily, honestly, it's not just one fight. You're getting the undercard too. A lot of times, you not only get that undercard. Sometimes you'll have like the free fights, and then you get the pay per view, and then like 3 hours later, you had the main event. But like, luckily, it seems like the couple times I did get to watch the Mike Tyson fight, I got to watch it for free. Not because I tried to watch it free; it just happened to stumble across it for free on cable.
You know what I would love to see? I would
Oh
love to see.
right.
I
Yeah,
would
right.
love to see somebody's right hook connect with that stupid ass beard I see on Casey's face. And here's the man who I want to see throw that punch. The shit, hold on, Star State, my man Tex. What's up, brother?
Is this the suicide hotline? Because after football today, I might need some help, boys. So y'all might need to talk me off the ledge.
I watched absolutely no football today. I ran some errands. I screwed around. I piddled around the house. I went and bought a new shower head because mine was broken, and that's what I did all day. Oh, and I went and got a pie place to get some good pies, some Happy's pies.
But not to derail the conversation too much, but I didn't see the Hall fight last night live. I caught the highlights this morning, and my first thought was, this is why weight classes are a thing. The black dude, his reach was taller than Jake Paul alone by himself. I know boxing's just as fake as WWE is these days. Hell, it's been that way for a long time. Looking at you, Don King. But, Jake Paul basically got paid to get his jaw broke for what, $50 million or $200 million? I don't know what the number was, but yeah, sign me up for that. I'm down, please, anytime. So I'm all good with it.
Yeah, I don't understand the draw to Jake Paul. I think it's because he's, what is he now, 28, 29, somewhere in that range. How old is he? 28.
Yeah.
He was born January 17th, 97, so he's 28. I don't get it. He lost his first fight to Tommy Fury.
Why hasn't he gone to WWE with Logan Paul and be a tag team with his brother? He can make more money and not get his ass kicked on fucking live TV.
I don't know.
Maybe he's still young enough. He probably will eventually. I mean, he's not
like that. That is the perfect move because he can fake fight with all the other people. He can shit talk all that he wants, and he could like that for as big a mouth as this guy has. He could be the next Roddy Piper. Are you kidding me? It'd be great. You know what I mean? But I think it's retarded.
I still think he's young enough. He's able to. It's not like I said, he's not like he's in his 40s. I mean, he still has time, but obviously he needs to do it sooner than later if he wants to do that.
So, Casey, you watch more than I do. He's never showed up at like a WrestleMania or nothing, right? I've never seen.
No, not that.
Okay, I didn't think so. I watch whenever y'all are watching. I don't watch like weekly television, so I don't know. But I didn't think he had ever appeared. But yeah, no, that fight last night just proved like dude, you like, unless you're fighting somebody who's receiving Medicare, you're going to die. That's basically what that proved. So, whatever.
I mean, well, what I heard during his interview, he's saying he's going to take some time off because he's been fighting for the last 6 years. So he's going to take some time off. So what does that mean? Like a year or two? I mean,
No,
how
that's
long
a cover story for I need surgery to put my head back together. That's what that is.
Say it before we
This
went
is
live.
apropos of nothing, right? But I need to ask: is it just me, or is Casey talking way more his entire life? Like, is this a
Well,
me too
usually
thing, or
usually
like I
on
don't
Derailed, the
understand?
smart people carry
Because
it,
he
and
just
Casey
gave
just
that
kind of carry
entire
every now and then.
monologue without one stutter.
Maybe Casey got kicked by a mule and it fixed
No, but like he
something
said
in
that
there.
entire monologue without one stutter.
That's what I'm saying. Like, maybe, I don't know, Casey, did you like
stick a fork in a light socket and it fixed your brain today or something? Or I mean, what happened? That's why I'm talking like this right now. I mean, I did put that fork in that light socket. The devil told me to do it, and it was like, I mean, now that's why I sound like this.
Well, he is a pretty smart guy. He did give me a pretty sweet, deal. So I did get my contract with him too. So you went to the right guy. So it's all good.
Okay.
Yeah,
No,
but I don't know. I'm just glad that Jake Paul finally got his jaw broken twice at the same time.
Yeah, but is it really? I mean, yeah, I'm happy to see the loudmouth get punched in the face, but knowing just how much money he made, it doesn't feel as good as if it was like a Rocky V situation where they're just fighting in the street or whatever, and like there's no money on the line. He doesn't get paid for it. He just gets his comeuppance. Like, did Jake Paul really get comeuppance or enough money that he can disappear for a decade until people forget about the embarrassment that he committed? You know what I mean? No.
Well, the problem with that is that he's got a big enough fan base. Whether he actually wins or loses the fight, it doesn't matter. They're still going to get down on their knees and they're going to suck his dick. That's the problem with fan bases these days. He's a late 20s, about 30-year-old guy who makes all the teenage girls cream in their jeans, and you can do no wrong when it comes to those girls. So even though he 100% deserved it, there's a plethora of 17-year-old girls out there. They're like, oh, poor Jake, when are we gonna be able to see him on wrestling again, or when can I buy his next album, or when's he gonna put out his next YouTube video? They don't care they got defrauded by money and time by a guy who's contractually scripting his fucking boxing matches. They don't care.
Like, I even tried one of them stupid Prime drinks one day because somebody bought it for me.
Oh my god!
It was like the red, white, and blue one. It was supposed to taste like those rocket pops that you would buy in the summer that are red, white, and blue or whatever. That thing tasted like ass. I was like, "How much did you pay for this?" And they're like, "Oh, it was like $3.50." I was like, "You go get your money back. That was god awful." Like it was like melted leftover like old Gatorade is I guess the best way I could describe it. It didn't even taste good. I'm like, what is the big deal with you people? But yeah,
well, those energy drinks usually taste like shit anyway. So they're like, to me, they taste like cough medicine.
Yeah. Well, that was the excuse of my buddy. The buddy's like, oh no. Well, he goes, oh well, did you shake it for a minute before you drank it? I'm like, no, dude, I opened the fucking lid like a normal person would before they drink their drink. I didn't know this $4 drink came with instructions of how to build a nuclear bomb here. Like, it was hot outside. I wanted a drink. You handed me one. I opened it and it was not good. So, apparently they're, whatever.
How long were you supposed to shake it for? Like 5 minutes? It's like,
I don't know. I didn't click on the I accept contract that apparently comes with the bottle when you purchase it. I don't know, but yeah, that's what's so funny. Jake Paul, I don't like. Logan Paul, he's actually entertaining. For the little bit of wrestling that I do watch, I enjoy Logan Paul. He's one of the better ones going these days. Like he's actually athletic and looks like a wrestler, and he can shit talk. He's fun to watch. Jake Paul, I just hope he gets hit by a bus, and doesn't get paid for it. So, whatever. Fuck it. So.
Tell us how you really feel now.
I feel like these guys are more. I feel like these guys are more suited for WWE and not real boxing.
They are.
I agree.
Oh, that'd be great. Yeah, put them both in there, have them shit talk. Jake Paul comes out, hey, CM Punk, you failed in UFC. Ha ha ha. CM Punk says, oh, yeah, well, I'll watch you get your jaw knocked off your face, you piece of shit. And then they go fake fight for 6 months. There you go, WWE. I just booked it for you.
Yeah, he's got. I was just looking. He had 2 metal plates put in his jaw.
Damn.
See, that's what I was talking to Frank before we went live. It was like, I remember Jake Paul saying he has a broken jaw. I was like, hold on, how does he know he has a broken jaw? But then he says, Frank said he had it broken in 2 spots. So it's like, okay. It's like,
when you have a broken jaw. I mean, I've never had a broken jaw, but when you could especially an athlete who is very in tune with their body, when something's wrong. It's just an instinct.
Yeah, I've been playing sports long enough that I know, even now, as all the aches and pains are coming in as I get older.
Oh yeah.
My girlfriend's always like, "You need to go to the doctor for it." I'm like, "No, it's just tendonitis. I know exactly what it is. It's just ibuprofen a couple times a day, and it'll go away." Yeah. That's just how it is. I played sports enough to know when what is hurt.
Yeah.
Well, there's a difference in pain that is, that's normal, and I think my spine's about to come out my back, like Predator style. There's you can tell the difference with Frank. I'm like you. I mean, I played high school football. I rode bulls in the rodeo. I have pain daily. That's a normal part of life. You just live with it. You get used to it. It sucks, but what are you gonna do? So whatever.
Yeah, especially as you get older.
Oh hell yeah! No, 100%.
Yeah.
I always thought my dad was crazy when he was like, "Oh, it gets colder, my bones ache a little more, my joints get a little swollen." I'm like, "The fuck are you talking about? That's some fucking magic voodoo bullshit." Now I'm pushing to 50, and I'm like, "Oh wait, Dad was right."
Yeah.
I'm cold all the time at work, so they're screaming at me when I get home.
I was at work the other day, and I was helping load the beer into the back, and I bent down, I had to bend all the way to the ground, my knees bending, to pick something up. And because I'm 38 years old, so I'm not young, but I'm not old. I'm in the middle of whatever. But I felt every football injury every time I got kicked by a bull. Oh yeah, no, I was I might need help getting up here. This is not good. Father Time is undefeated, as they say. So I mean, it's one of those things.
Would you say you're middle age? You said you're not old, but you're not young. So
100%. Yeah. Oh yeah. No, dude. Dude, have you seen the world that we live in? I would not want to be a 20-something in this world. I am happy to be middle-aged, my friend. No, thank you.
As old and out of shape as I am, I think about what 50-year-old guys look like when I was 14.
Oh yeah.
They look like they were fucking 70 back in the 80s.
Oh yeah.
Nowadays you got guys that are 50, 60 years old. I mean, fucking RFK Jr. is 71 or something like that, or 74. And
something like that.
He's out there he's out there at Muscle Beach in Venice, banging out barbells, doing pull-ups and shit, making sure he flexes his muscles in just the right way so the camera gets him just right. I'm just like, damn, dude, you fucking do what you're doing, pal. Go for it.
I'm trying to get on that.
He looks old in the face, but his body's just cut, so it's whatever.
I'm trying to get on that adrenochrome diet, but I'm not rich enough, and I don't go to the right islands to get it, so I don't think I qualify. So, probably not going to happen anytime soon.
Let me see if I can get a good picture of RFK Jr. working out. This is going to get Casey overexcited, so calm down, Casey. All right?
Maybe maybe the only person that talks worse than Casey is RFK Jr. because good Lord, listen to that man like nails on a goddamn chalkboard. But
come on.
Well, he had that brain thing, and it fucked with his speech pattern, from what I heard.
Oh,
yeah, he had some kind of brain worm or some fuck thing. I don't know what it is. But.
So now he takes that blue shit. What's it called? Methylene blue.
Methylene blue, yeah.
Which I asked my doctor. I asked my doctor.
Shit turns your mouth blue.
It turns your brain blue.
Yeah.
Yeah, I wouldn't fuck with RFK Jr. That guy looks like he throws hands still.
Yeah, I wouldn't fuck with him. He looked like he can kick my
I don't know,
ass.
Casey. Casey, he's going after your fast food and all your junk food. If he takes that away from you, you're not going to fight him for it. Be like, listen here, motherfucker, we'll leave my tots alone. If you take you're telling me if RFK came out tomorrow and said the seed oils and Sonic tater tots are no good, we're pulling them off the market, you're not going to fist fight that guy over your Sonic tater tots, Casey?
No, it's not that. It's if they would take my nuggets away, that's when I'm like, I see
that's
red.
Casey's line. Okay, so if they touch the nuggets, Casey's going John Rambo on somebody.
That's right. My nuggets. That's where.
I'll be dead.
Let's go ahead and move on to something else now. And since Texas here, I guess it's probably a good time to talk about this. Greg Biffle, NASCAR driver, and his entire family were killed in a plane crash in North Carolina 2 days ago. Terrible situation. This from where is this from? I don't know what this is from. It's from, I don't know, one of the things. It's from Fox. This is Fox News, sorry. I couldn't find easily where it's from. Greg Biffle and his wife and children were all killed in a plane crash in North Carolina on Thursday. Representative Richard Hudson of North Carolina said in a post on social media. Biffle and his family members were on board a Cessna C-550 making its way to the Bahamas via Sarasota, Florida when it crashed in Statesville Regional Airport. The plane, which was owned by GB Aviation Leasing LLC, which was owned by Biffle. The congressman said, I am devastated on Twitter, said, I am devastated by the loss of Greg, Christina, and their children. My heart is with all who love them. And there's a lot of other people on Twitter giving their condolences, of course, which is par for the course when something like this happens. Terrible, tragic story with, there's no good to come of tragedy like this. Obviously, the investigation is ongoing. I'll go to you first, Tex. Give me your quick thoughts on this sudden disaster that took place.
Yeah, I was on lunch break whenever I saw this on X, and I'm obviously a big NASCAR guy. I'm a Earnhardt guy by tribe, but Greg Biffle was one of those kind of unappreciated NASCAR drivers of like the early 2000s, and he was never a fan favorite. He drove for Roush basically all of his career. He drove the number 16 car for years. He won championships, won races, but he was never like a Dale Jr., Tony Stewart, Jimmy Johnson. He was like a second-tier guy, but he was always a good guy. Hell, I even got to meet him at Texas Motor Speedway one year. And he kind of just quietly retired. He didn't have this big tour. But anytime there was like a NASCAR charity, he was always there. He did a lot of that kind of stuff. And he was just a good dude. And to hear this close to Christmas that him and his entire family were tragically, had this accident is just awful. I saw the live video. I'm sure y'all did too of the fire and crash and everything else. And it just, holy shit, that's got to suck, man. Because, there was, Greg Biffle, he never made headlines because he was just a quiet, humble dude. He never made waves. He wasn't the guy to, I'm going to get out there on the track and, crash your ass. He was not a Dale Earnhardt. He wasn't a Darrell Waltrip type. But just a solid, good dude that made his money, won some races, and made an awesome life for his family until they were tragically took. And, it sucks that a whole family went that way, and I guess in a morbid way, at least they had them till the end, as bad as that sounds, but they did, you know what I mean? It was, just a horrible situation for the holidays, though. thoughts, prayers, obviously, to the family. You know what I mean? So
I'm just reading it up. I'm just reading it now. Like I heard Greg Biffle dying, but
Yeah.
I didn't see the whole thing about the plane crash. But I'm looking.
Yeah.
It says the wrecked plane was still on the on the runway. What happened
Well,
then? Like
he had
From
took
what I-
off.
Yeah, from what I heard, there
He
was some
had-
problems driving the truck off, and they tried to turn around, and they didn't quite make
Yeah,
it.
from what I read, they had left, and then they weren't in the air very long, and then there was some kind of mechanical failure or something. I'm not real sure. So he turns around to go back, and obviously they didn't make it all the way back, you know. But yeah, I mean, they're still investigating stuff. Like we haven't gotten all of the details on it yet, but it's a very sad situation.
oh yeah, I mean it just sounded like they were still on the runway, like they're about to take off when this happened. But
no, they took off, and then he noticed something went bad. He said, "Oh shit, we got to go back."
I just saw
They made it back, but not in one piece, unfortunately.
No, I just saw it. That's horrible.
The video was all over the NASCAR section of X, Twitter, whatever you want to call it. I mean, every driver was giving testimonies of him. Brad Keselowski was one of the more recent ones I saw. The whole NASCAR community spoke out. Just like I said, he was like a lower A-tier driver just because technically he was a champion, but he was just never the top guy. He was kind of like a Mark Martin top level, and he had a good little career and then retired while he was kind of still on top, and unfortunately lost his life. So it sucks.
Yeah, it's unfortunate bit of news.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, pretty terrible. And I've never been the biggest racing fan, so I'm not going to claim to. I mean, I knew who he was. I knew things about him. I'm not going to claim that I was any kind of.
It's luckily that you have a friend that has a Dale Earnhardt Jr. tattoo on his right fucking arm to talk about this shit for you. So,
I almost thought you were going to say on his right ass cheek. That was
no, I got back in 2005. I at Texas Motor Speedway in Fort Worth, Texas. I went to the NASCAR race and I met Dale Jr. one time, and I had him autograph my arm. And I immediately went to the tattoo parlor and had them tattoo it on. So
that's awesome. That's awesome.
Yeah.
I've been one of those people that has fought the temptation to get my favorite sports team tattooed on me at all.
Well, initially it was a dare because I was just going to get my cap or T-shirt signed or whatever, right? But I was like, you know what? I'm going to get me autographed and then go tattoo it. And then no, you won't. I'm like, I bet I do, and then whatever. And then, the whole hold my beer, watch this kind of bullshit happen. Then 2 hours later, I'm tattooed. So there you go.
I'm shocked you didn't do like how women goes up to the celebrity. It's like, hey, someone did.
No, that's frowned upon in my community. If I would expect to have been thrown out by the hefty security that Dale Earnhardt Jr. happened to have with him that night. So probably wouldn't have went well.
You and I both know that your community, if some hot chick walks up to you in your face, sign around my nipple, you'd be like, okay.
No. Hot chick, yes. 6 foot tall plus drunk guy, no, that doesn't go over, Frank. There is a double standard here. You get where I'm going with it? So, yeah, that doesn't work for me. So, yeah.
But, yeah, an unfortunate situation all around. I mean, they did recover. I read earlier today they did recover the black box from the airplane. So they're going to be able to get some telemetry data and things like that. But, I mean, it seems to me like we already kind of know what happened. They had radioed in. They were turning around with engine problems, and then whatever happened. And hopefully answers, and we'll figure out exactly what happened. But I don't know if that's going to be any consolation to the family at this point. You know what I mean?
Well, and I'm sure y'all don't know all of the chaos and turmoil that's going on in NASCAR right now with the lawsuits, and NASCAR itself, and the team owners. It's a very chaotic time within the sport and the world of NASCAR proper. I mean, there's never a good time for anything like this to happen, but this, in the middle of all of the chaos that's already going on, just makes it that much worse. Like it's a mess, man. It's, very sad to see.
See, it's always it makes you think, like, take these flights for granted. Like, it's kind of like how George Costanza said in Seinfeld, where
T-Bone.
He would say, like, what about a team that takes a flight and it gets wiped out? Like, God forbid that actually ever happens, obviously.
Right.
But, like, God forbid something like that. But, like, you just see right there, it was a private plane. It just wipes out not only a driver, but his whole family, too. And not only that, obviously, the pilot. Like,
no, Greg Biffle was the pilot. He was flying, I believe. Yeah.
Really? I figured.
Yeah. He had actually just like what, a year or two ago was flying Starlink equipment in his private helicopter.
Yeah, Greg Biffle was one of those that almost got arrested for trying to help people out of the hurricanes and stuff whenever the government was like, no, don't go help people. He was one of those that was flying his personal airplane for free to rescue people in Starlink and all that. That's what I'm saying. Greg Biffle was a solid guy. I don't know his personal life, what he did behind, doors closed, but from everything that we knew about Greg Biffle, stand-up family man, you know what I mean? And it was, it's a terrible thing to see, but you never know. Cream, who knows?
I just figured he would have had a personal pilot. I know some people. I know, like, some people, like, obviously that one actor who loves flying his own plane. I can't think of his name.
Harrison Ford.
But I guess several actors like to fly their own planes, but like.
Harrison Ford does. John Travolta is a trained pilot.
Yeah, John Travolta.
Yeah.
That's one of. Yeah, but like I guess if it was let's say it was a personal pilot, then you would think you would held that guy responsible for like doing pre-checks on maintenance. But if you're the pilot for your own plane, then obviously you could say, I'm not gonna pre-check shit. Let's just go.
This isn't even a situation of who can we sue. This is just a situation of bad shit just happens sometimes.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? It's I was driving down the road and the traffic slammed on their brakes in front of me and I didn't have time to stop. That stuff happens every day. His just happened to be in an aircraft and much more severe. But, sad to see.
And, this is going to be sidetracked. This is one of those reasons why flying cars is probably going to be more and more unlikely because of something like this, Like,
they actually just put into production. They actually did. I saw the other day, they just put into production a flying car.
Hang on, Casey, did you see the Fantastic Four movie and think that was a documentary? Is that what you're saying?
Documentary? No, I hadn't watched it yet, but.
Okay.
No, I'm just saying. No, I'm just saying is like, some people are like, oh, I can't wait for a flying car. I'm like, wouldn't you think you probably need a pilot's license to do that? Like, you can't go.
What's the difference in a flying car and an airplane? They're both a vehicular structure of metal that holds people that flies. Would that just not be an airplane?
Yeah, but that's what I said. You would probably have to get a pilot's license to have a flying car. That's what I was trying to say. You can't just say like
Well,
some 16-year-old kid getting his driver's license to get a flying car. Like, I mean, that's why I'm saying
you
is
create a time machine, jump jump in the future and find out if we need to start getting pilots licenses ahead of time and let us know. Oh, and also bring back the almanac of every sports team victory so I can make some money. So let me know when you get that for me. That'd be great. So
Looks like Old Miss beat Tulane 41-10.
I picked that one right.
it's sad about those when something like that happens, especially to good people. Like I said before, I heard him passing, but I didn't look into it too much because I was like, I hate hearing about bad news. I'd rather hear about
Yeah,
good news.
yeah,
But
it was rough. I mean, obviously NASCAR has had its bright spots, like in a period in the 80s, and like the 90s were really good for NASCAR, and then
oh
like
yeah,
the early 2000s, for a few years there were numbers were good. The NASCAR community, it's kind of cut off. Like they kind of keep to their own. They don't really mix as much as other sports do, and it's a very tight knit family. Like it's a very tight knit group, and when you see tragedy, something like this happens, you see a lot of the people come together really well. That's one thing I will say about NASCAR people, but
Alex
it's
back.
very sad.
Alex said they're talking about hillbillies racing cars around a circle. He said, I got to bounce for a little bit.
You're damn right. Hey,
I get
hey,
I got
200 miles an hour, just keep that in mind, sir. You uncultured swine. You don't know what good is. My lord, goodness
well.
What
gracious.
you're
Let
saying
me ask.
so what you're saying is their professionals are sitting down for a period of time. I understand.
No, you get in that car. I don't have the time on Frank's podcast tonight because you're not even going to accept my argument anyways. But let me tell you, it's not just, we're going on a Sunday stroll to the palace. Believe what you will, sir. It's fine.
Actually, you know what? You're
Whatever.
right because there's a lot of pressure on the body and everything from all the speed. So it's like sitting in a chair with a
Well,
fat person on top of you for a little while. I got you.
but the short version would be imagine strapping yourself to a rocket that goes 200 plus for 3 hours. You're wearing a suit that makes you lose about 20 pounds worth of water weight every race. You have to be an elite athlete. It's not just fat guys jumping in a car like it used to be. These guys train like they're professional athletes because they are. Most of the pit crews are like former college athletes that
Oh
didn't
yeah,
go pro, whether they're football, basketball, whatever. The athletic element of NASCAR alone, they literally have training schools like colleges to that NASCAR teams go get their people out of that train you like you're in the combine for the NFL. It's crazy
So does wrestling, and wrestling's fake. I just want to point that out.
No, that's true. No, that's true. But with wrestling as well, in case you can attest to this, yes, it's fake, but if you're not doing it properly, you're going to break your neck and die in the ring. You know what I mean? It's not just basically what I'm saying. You have to be athletic, otherwise you're never going to make it.
well, let me ask you guys a question. Which one's more of a sport? Wrestling, NASCAR, or cheerleading? Which one's the more considered as a sport to
You
you?
mean which one's most physically challenging? Because I think they're all
Six say, how are you defining this? Because that's three very different things.
Okay, which one's more physically challenging as a sport?
I would say wrestling. And here's
I
why.
Uh,
would
Because it
probably say
requires
that.
yeah, because here's the thing. I'm playing the joke about it, but
Of course, yeah.
ultimately there's way more motion and correction of your body and a whole like it there's you do way more different things physically when you're doing wrestling, whereas with NASCAR, it's a strain on your body, yes, but in terms of actually doing something.
I would agree with wrestling is definitely more athletic. Big, I mean, to me, when people is like, "Oh, cheerleading is a sport," I'm like there's competition, yes, but I'm like, I mean, after that, it's like, is it athletic? Yes, I mean, but it's
You
I
just
was
like watching the
think
butts bounce up and down.
Um, I think you're comparing apples to oranges here because I think the correct answer, let's just take wrestling and NASCAR. You have to be two different kinds of athletes. If you're an athlete in the way of, you have to be like most NASCAR drivers, they train the same way like people who do like long distance running or like Tour de France kind of stuff. They're that kind of athlete. They're not trying to build up muscle on the way like a Triple H or Stone Cold or somebody. Are they athletic? Yes, but they are training in a complete different way. To me, that's a weird comparison that I don't think works, if you know what I'm saying.
to me, I'm just sorry. I mean, you sit in a car and you're making left turns all day and
No, well, that's what I'm
change.
saying. This is not just a car. You realize the heat that is in that car that you have to keep from passing out within that car and killing everybody around you.
It is certainly an endurance trial, that's for sure.
You are in a missile that is inches, maybe an inch and a half, 2 inches off of the ground at 200 miles an hour in the pack of maybe up to 42 other people that are doing the same thing. Go watch a race at Talladega when they're 210, 220, whatever it may be. And they are inches away from one another. And if one person messes up, which is why they call it the big one, because one person screws up or hits the track in the wrong way, everybody's done. And we've seen what can happen with deaths on the track, like Earnhardt, so many people in the past. So yes, it is a sport. You may not have the big muscles like a wrestler or something has, but you have to have endurance. You have to have core strength like none other. You have to be able to endure. If you put the most in shape pro wrestler in a NASCAR, they're not going to make it because they're not trained to do it. So they're both athletes, just in different ways. You know?
And I'm sure their weight is a thing. It's like obviously,
of course,
you don't see a NASCAR overweight driving because I'm sure they're being overweight would cause them to not do good.
Oh, you'd die. You'd have a heart attack in the middle of a race. I mean, I'm 6'5", about, I think I weighed like 274 the other day whenever I was at the gym. So I'm not a small person. I barely fit in a NASCAR. Like when you meet NASCAR drivers, most of them aren't very big. It's like a jockey or
they're
whatever.
Small guys.
They're very few. You get very few 6 foot tall NASCAR drivers. Like one of the more famous 6 foot NASCAR drivers was Michael Walter. He drove the number 15 Napa car. And he was so tall, he was one of the reasons why they started putting cutouts in the top of the car, because if there was a crash, they could not get him out of the car because he was so tall, where they had to put an escape hatch in the top for the height. So, there's a lot of intricacies that go that for somebody who's uneducated about NASCAR as a whole, that think, they just get in the car and turn left. Ha ha ha. That's always been the joke, right? But the reality of the situation is that whole sport has more math and science in it than any other sport does. There's more numbers. Go watch, if you want to see kind of a insight on what that is, go watch the new F1 movie with Brad Pitt and watch the scenes where the team is working behind the scenes and they have the car on the simulators. The computers are doing that. we can shave 1/100,000th of a second off of this if we do whatever. That's realistic. That actually happens in motorsports. It's not for dummies. That's one of the reasons I like it. The whole thing.
I just did that just to niggle you a little bit. I knew that was.
Oh yeah. Oh dude, you ain't saying a joke that hadn't been said since the 80s. Ain't none of this stuff. It's just I like to educate people when these topics come up because it's actually very fascinating, the science and the smarts behind what puts that car on the track and makes it stick to that track. It's crazy. So.
I
want to move on to another topic real quick before we get too wrapped up with this, because I do have a little bit of a time limit tonight, so I want to get to a few things. But this Jesus Christ, as a football fan, I was flabbergasted by this. As an Ohio State fan, I couldn't help but laugh my ass off about the whole thing. Now you see, oh good God, Sharon Moore. He had a really bad day last week.
Oh yeah.
He woke up in the morning and he was the head coach of the Michigan Wolverines football team, college football team, one of the most storied college franchises in history. He went to bed in a jail cell, unemployed, probably not with a wife anymore. At least he shouldn't. And with all kinds of people knowing his deep, dark secrets. Let's see. New detail. This is from ABC News. New details in former Michigan head coach Sharon Moore's arrest. Let's see. More details about the arrest of former University of Michigan football coach Sharon Moore, who has been charged with home invasion, stalking, looting allegations. That he got a long history of domestic violence against this alleged victim, which is unreal. Pittsfield Township Police detectives testified during a probable cause hearing December 12th. She gave a timeline of events leading up to Moore's arrest on December 10th at the apartment of an unnamed woman who was allegedly having an affair with a 39-year-old married father of three, according to prosecutors. And I think we've gone past the allegedly mark to this point. This girl has since been identified. I don't really know her name, and I'm not going to put it out there because I don't think it's very nice. But I don't know. Casey makes sense out of this mess. And I'm asking Casey to fix it. So that's how fucked up this whole situation has gotten. I mean, I don't know how familiar you are with the story, Casey, but I mean the gist of it is I guess going all the way back to, I want to say September is when the athletic director and the powers that be in Michigan first got wind of this, and they questioned him and this young girl about a relationship. They both said it wasn't happening, it wasn't true. And there was no evidence either way, so I guess the University of Michigan just kind of said, whatever, we're going to let it go, and if there's no evidence. And then I guess, from what I have read, about 90 minutes after losing the game to Ohio State, something happened to put this back on their radar, and apparently it led to this girl walking in and saying, actually, I lied. Here's text messages, here's emails, here's all kinds of shit, saying what we were doing and all this other stuff. So I guess they rolled in the next morning to his office and they said, hey, we're letting you go for cause. And he decided he was going to, since he was going to lose his job and probably his credibility anyway, he decided to break into the girl's house, grab a knife, and threaten to do harm to himself and to this girl, which is always a good way to do it.
Oh my
I don't know,
God.
Casey, it's a train wreck, Casey. What do you think?
I hadn't really followed this. I'm trying to read it up, but when you said where he broke into this woman's house and held the knife to himself, or that's insane. I mean, the guy is going to lose his livelihood, so that's not going to be good. But I'm sure he has a lot of money, but
Not anymore.
That contract is null and void after what he did.
Yeah. That contract's gone now. So instead of making, what was he making, like $15 million a year or something like that, or maybe not quite
something
that
like
much,
that.
I mean, he wasn't making a minimum wage to coach the Michigan Wolverines, that's for sure. But that's gone now. So he's not got any income. His contract's been voided. It's probably going to cost him a bunch of money in legal fees to get through this. I'm sure his wife is going to take pretty much what's left, including probably the house. essentially he's got nothing now. I mean, he's got the shirt on his back, which probably won't even belong to him for a whole lot longer.
Well, old boy decided to pull a Lane Kiffin and couldn't keep his fingers out of the cookie jar of them college gals, and look what happened to it. So
they just busted into their coach like 2 days ago.
Oh yeah. How many coaches? What was the Arkansas head coach a few years ago that got busted and then he had a motorcycle crash as well? I can't remember his name. There's been a myriad of these college coaches that, were being naughty where they shouldn't have been, and it ended up costing them their deal. Now, I did see a pretty convincing tweet on X that gal was actually, and Frank, you could speak to this, that gal was actually a plant from Ohio State to fuck over Michigan. So you living there, could you confess to the whether this is legit or not to, tell Michigan to go fuck off and get their head coach fired?
I do not believe that because look, I don't believe it because it's a little too silly. It's a little too much.
Of course, it was a joke tweet.
That's a whole lot of trouble to go through as well. And 3, right. Ohio State's already better than Michigan right now. So
this is true.
Once Harbaugh left, a lot of his players left. It was just like that's like when people would say that, like, what was that thing that was going on after Trump got shot at in Pennsylvania?
Yeah,
people were saying that he set it up so he could win the election. I was like, he was already up by like 10 points in every poll. That's like cheating that's like cheating in the last 2 minutes of the Super Bowl when you're up by 3 touchdowns. That doesn't make any sense at all. You've already got the game won. I was like, he was already way ahead, so he didn't need to cheat to win. He was already way out front. Same thing here. Ohio State's already way better than Michigan. The thing with me is that Michigan knew about this stuff a long time ago and just kind of was like, meh, we'll do whatever. I think it was, ironically enough, now that you mentioned Ohio State, it was Ohio University, I think, that fired their coach after an alleged relationship with a staffer.
Oh, there's been multiple coaches. Yeah, there's been many.
But that's the thing is, like, if you really dig into college programs, everything from like the big ones like Ohio State, Miami, whatever, all the way down to like the mid majors and the smaller schools, you're going to find this happening probably 15 times. Oh, you're going to find 15 times where a coach is banging one of his assistants. Now, whether he's married or not is something.
It's been Is it wrong? Yes, because you have a teacher-student paradigm here where one has power and some kind of sway over the other, but they're both adults, so they technically can consent if they want to. So it's like sleeping with a coworker. If you're both legal, is it wrong? It's kind of a gray area, you could argue. But, I don't know.
That is a very gray area. Honestly, you shouldn't be dating anyone who's a student of your.
No, I agree. I think it's wrong. But
she wasn't a student. She was actually an executive assistant. She was a full employee of the university. Yeah. But there is stuff in his contract saying you cannot have relations with school employees or employees of the athletic department or whatever, however it was worded. And it's not unusual to have non-fraternization policies at work. I've worked for plenty of places that say you can't date someone in your branch or in your immediate vicinity of work. If so, one of you will have to transfer or whatever. So it's not unusual. But the problem is, it's not just that he broke a rule, which he was in his contract that he signed. Yeah. It's that the chick that he was around with, apparently one of her jobs was to walk around with what's his name, with Sharon Moore's wife and family on game days and kind of be their personal assistant. So if they needed something, this girl would go and get it for him. So she was actually, I don't know about close, but she was at least in general, at least had a relationship with his wife, which makes it even more goofy.
She took that executive assistant title a bit literally. I'm thinking, you know what I'm saying, and I think you do because, he had a son.
Executive penis.
Somebody pulled a Monica and Bill here. You know what I mean? But it's just it's like you said a minute ago. If you comb through college football, or I guarantee you I guarantee you pro football is even worse. But just college alone, this stuff is widespread, and unfortunately, the last two head coaches that Michigan has had have both had major controversies with Harbaugh and this dude. Like they can't win for losing.
I read something last week that since Harbaugh got hired at Michigan, 11 people that he hired for his staff, 11 people were either sanctioned for serious wrongdoing by the NCAA, committed some kind of serious crime.
Nice.
And four of them had since been banned from college football, from having any job in college football.
Oh yeah, no.
And I'm like,
Harbaugh is well known. Yeah. Oh yeah.
It kind of makes me wonder if he was pulling any shit like this when he was coach of the Niners. I mean, different rules because it's pro, not college. But I kind of wonder. I was like, maybe that's one of the reasons why things got a little frosty between him and the organization, because they were like, hey man, we don't really dig the way you're doing some things, so maybe you got to do it differently. And he's like, but I'm fucking Harbaugh, and I just got you the Super Bowl, and and my family's got a big name in football, and and they were just kind of like, can we trade you to Cleveland now? and that's why they almost traded his ass to the Cleveland Browns. But whatever.
Leopard's not going to change his spots just because he's in a different kind of football. I'm not saying Harbaugh necessarily did anything wrong, because I have no knowledge of that. But I think it's safe to assume that there was probably some shenanigans going on there, and not just Harbaugh himself, but with a lot of coaches. They all have their coaching trees that spread out. That this guy coached for Bill Belichick, and he went here, then this guy went there. This stuff spreads wide. I mean, this is a football fan. This stuff happens everywhere in football.
I have told people plenty of times, if you really dig into one of your favorite sports teams, you are not going to like what you see.
Oh yeah, well that goes along with never meet your heroes.
You don't want it kind of goes beyond that, because it's like it's like they always say people don't want to see how the sausage is made, you just want to know if the sausage tastes good. It's kind of like that. If you actually, because I've worked in restaurants most of my life, and I've told people 100 times, if you saw what went on behind the counters of a restaurant, you would never eat out again. And I'm not saying it's like people are spitting in your food or anything. That doesn't really happen as much as you would think. And if it does happen, those people get fired right away. But it's like little things, like, because when I was in high school, I used to work at the local Red Lobster. I was like one of the kitchen guys back there. And servers, because they're going for like 8-10 hours nonstop, they don't really get a kind of break that most people would get to sit down and eat. What they'll do is they're getting these plates either to take out, they'll grab a fry off somebody's fucking plate and just eat it. Don't eat off your fucking plate before you even see it at your table. If you knew that, it happens at every restaurant. It happens. Every server does it. If you knew that, you would never go out and eat again. But it happens. You just don't see it because it's behind the counter, because it's behind the wall.
Yeah, you know what? That doesn't shock me now you said that, because I'm like, hey, how's there going to know that fry's missing, Or like, well, slurp of your drink is gone, So it's like, how the hell they're going to know that?
Well, I can tell you, I mean, I've spent a lot of years on the customer side of the bar, but y'all know my recent career change. I'm now running one. The things that I've had to learn on the fly blew my fucking mind. Like it completely changed walking into any bar. Like, I don't see it as a fun place to hang out with my friends anymore. It completely changes your complete existence. And yeah, I've never done food. I don't deal with that shit. I want to go eat and presume that this hasn't gotten the secret sauce or been spat upon or anything else, and just enjoy my steak. You know what I mean? So trust. That's why I go to very few restaurants that I trust. But whatever.
It's kind of like how I seen recently. There's a door dasher who got arrested because once she dropped off the food, she pepper sprayed the food, and like,
Jesus Christ.
Yeah, she pepper sprayed the food, and luckily they had a door camera on her. She was too stupid not to know there was a door camera, and she still did it. But she said she sprayed it because there was a spider, but like I
How
hate
did
spiders.
there was a spider inside the food?
Well, no, she said there was a spider somewhere on the porch, but like,
Actually, the body cam footage of the cops that went and arrested her. I just watched it the other day
yeah,
because she
but
actually she was delivering in Indiana, but she actually lives in Kentucky. I don't know
yeah,
why. I mean, sure, it's like right there next to each other. So I don't know, but they
I
actually
think
went up there and arrested her and extradited her to Indiana for all this.
she was on a family trip and she figured, hey, while I'm here, I'll do some door dashing.
Make some
You know?
money, yeah. No.
So you literally see this bitch of a woman just spray the people's food with a pepper spray. I'm like, hold on. I'm like, that's pretty fucked up. I'm like,
Dude, that's no worse than the. I saw one the other day of this was recorded from the customer's cell phone. The DoorDash, it was one of the Somalian DoorDash drivers. He was sitting in the people's drive. The customer had like a round driveway that went through the front yard. He's sitting in the driveway eating the guy's chicken nuggets. And then as the customer comes out, he goes, "Is that my food?" And the guy's like, "Yeah," and then tries to hand him the bag and drive off like nothing happened. Like it was just a normal day. I'm like, I would kill that. Like, I'm killing that guy, then I'm calling DoorDash and reporting every person I can. Like, no thank you. Yeah.
I'm not gonna lie. When I had food poisoning, like I think it was a year ago, it made me really think. Like I still hit DoorDash every once in a while, but like it makes you think. Like God, like you're paying a tip for them. You figure, hey, like they would try not to do anything to fuck with you, and then I try not to fuck with them either. Like if anything, like if there's something wrong with the order, I don't blame the DoorDasher because they're delivering it. I blame the restaurant because I want
Well,
to get that person fired. You know?
I can tell you, I mean, I haven't done it much recently, but prior to getting this job, my second job was DoorDash. And I can tell you, I mean, I was always professional. I made sure I was on time. I did above board to make sure I did as good as possible. But there are some situations where they put you, you know, where you're going to be late or whatever. Or there's some orders that I've picked up where the bag was hardly sealed or the food was so greasy that the bag was already starting to rip, you know. So there are some times where like it was not the driver's fault. But then you see situations like, oh, this guy's eating my food or they're pepper spraying it in the driveway, you know, and you're like, okay, well, this is obviously a case by case thing. You know what I mean? It's one of them deals.
A quick little piece of football news. Jordan Love is out with a apparent concussion. They don't think he's going to come back tonight. Malik Willis is taking over for the Packers the rest of the game. So, yeah. Get ready to go into the last part of the season, the playoffs, and all that.
Luckily, I don't have him on any fantasy teams this year, so that's good. I don't care. So, no worries. I had Jordan Love 2 seasons ago, or 1 or 2 seasons ago, and he didn't do that great for me, so I didn't draft him again. So, no, thank you.
I don't watch. I tried to watch a little bit more football, a little bit more here and there each season now since really dropped off. But like it's kind of hard when your team sucks to get into it again. Like it's just hard.
I only watch for. The Cowboys suck. They can fuck off. I don't care about modern Dallas Cowboys anymore. I'm done caring. The only reason I keep waiting for
the Niners to fall apart. It's like I feel like it's gonna happen. It's just right there, and I'm scared.
Dude, I'm so jaded with the Dallas Cowboys. It's like I'm sick of being gaslit that the team is trying when I know you're not. Like at this point, I hope they lose every game so somebody might actually do something. That's where I'm at with my unfortunate NFL team, but you know, it's whatever. Who
See,
cares?
I'm pretty sure if the Cowboys win a Super Bowl, that's probably one of the signs of the apocalypse. Like we know,
Oh yeah, no, the asteroid is coming if the Dallas Cowboys win a goddamn Super Bowl. Like you know for a fact that shit's happening because yeah.
or it'd be my luck, I'll be dead, and the very next season, that's when that happens. I was like, of course, couldn't do it while I was alive anymore.
It'll. I mean, listen, I'm only 38 years old. I do not see that team ever winning one ever again. At least within my lifetime. I don't think it'll happen. They're too far away on so many things. And it's not that there's not talent on the team, because there are. The worst thing about the Dallas Cowboys is the management. The Jones family in and of itself is more worried about making money and staying America's team than actually being good. As long as they're making millions of dollars a year, they don't care. They're never going to be anything else.
Well, they'll always make money. It's like, but are they really still America's team? Like
No.
you can't still be called America's team when you had like Patriots had Super Bowls, 6 or 7 Super Bowls, and then you have the Chiefs won 3 recently. Like
the Chiefs. No. See, there's where you're wrong. The Chiefs were a bandwagon team, just like the Patriots were the bandwagon team before them. You know, Chiefs fans today were wearing Tom Brady jerseys 12 years ago, okay? Because they're just hopping teams to the newest guy. That's all they are. They're not real fans.
Yeah, football's full of fucking Fairweather fans.
Oh, 100%. It's like that one year the Seahawks won the Super Bowl. All of a sudden, there were the Seahawks jerseys everywhere. All of a sudden, everybody's a Seahawks fan. Or Detroit Lions. Where's all those Detroit Lions fans that were everywhere last year? Have y'all seen them lately? Because I haven't. Did they vanish? Did they get raptured away or something? I mean, it's crazy how that happened, right? It just poofed out of nowhere. I mean, it's weird.
Oh, I mean, my brother-in-law, and he's happy about his he wears his lion stuff, and same thing with his kids. So
yeah, but the whole we have grit. Everybody's rooting for the underdog. Everybody jumped on that bandwagon as soon as they could, and they just hopped off that crazy train when it wasn't going anywhere anymore. I can't stand a Fairweather fan. It drives me nuts.
Yeah, it's dumb. There's so many Fairweather fans in football.
Oh yeah, 100%. Completely.
Let's move on to the. Go ahead, Casey. Say what you're saying.
It's kind of hard to be a true fan when pretty much the main teams rotate of being good. Like you know what I mean? Like you'll have the Niners will do great, and then they'll have some shit seasons afterwards. So
it's not hard to be a true fan. It's not hard to be a true fan. I've been a Warriors fan my whole life. I was a Warriors fan when they were barely winning 30 games a year, or they would make the playoffs once every 7 or 8 years. I was a Warriors fan then. So when the Warriors started winning games, I was like, hey, I'm a long-suffering Warriors fan. I deserve to watch my hometown basketball team win a title. And a lot of people were like, oh, you're just a Fairweather fan. I'm like, no, my first pro basketball game I ever went to was I went and saw Michael Jordan play his rookie year against the Warriors at the Coliseum in Oakland. That was the first.
That's cool.
That's the only time I ever seen to see Jordan play. That was before he became Michael Jordan. He was a phenom for sure, but I mean, he would become later. 10 years later, he would be Jordan. But it's like that.
Right.
But like even back then, when the Warriors were winning 25, 30 games a year, not making the playoffs, every once in a while, maybe getting like a high seed, getting thumped in the first round. Every now and again, they would do well, and they're thinking maybe this is the year the Warriors kind of finally get over the hump. No. Next 5 years, they would suck. I was a Warriors fan then. I was rocking the Spreewell jerseys. I was rocking the Mullins jersey. I was fucking Don Nelson was one of my fucking guys. Longtime coach of the Warriors before he went to the Mavs and had a little bit.
So say he was also a Mavericks coach.
Yeah, Anthony Hardaway. I was rocking the Hardaway jersey. Everything. I had all those jerseys when I was a kid, so I was a long-suffering fan.
I'd love to see pictures of Frank in the '80s with his, with his '80s style, hairdo, rocking those '80s jerseys with the really high knee shorts that show too much thigh that they had in the '80s, and that's got to be a picture worth seeing right there. Oh, yeah.
I'll find pictures. I'll find them. Mom's got them at home somewhere. Mom's got plenty of photos.
Yeah, we need Mama Frank to. We need Mama Frank to comb through and find the embarrassing Frank pictures. And, be like,
my God.
That'd be great. Yeah, that'd be great.
Mom's got the pictures. There's photo books aplenty at my parents' house.
I'll even play along too. I'll dig through and find my worst pictures. What the hell? That'd be a fun stream. Why the hell not? You know what I mean? That'd be cool as shit.
I will find some of those pictures and go for shit. But let's talk a little about Rob Reiner, since I have him on the thumbnail. I don't want to skip it and all. But we all know about the terrible situation surrounding Rob Reiner. We did just try to talk a little bit about his. Why didn't I click on that? I didn't click on that right, I guess. The situation surrounding his death, we did just Jeremy and I did just review in his honor for one reason the Princess Bride just the other day. But the latest on Rob Reiner's death, this is what we know so far as the investigation continues. They have released an official cause of death, which to nobody's surprise is being called what do they call it? I think it's funny the way they word some of these things. God damn, I was just looking at this article. I had it right in front of me. And for some reason, I cannot now find it in this article. Blunt stab wounds or something like that. Why do they word things like this? I don't know why they word things like this. Yeah, I know, but I mean, it's just dumb. But let's see.
A double homicide?
Let me read this.
It should be.
Yeah, whatever. But the investigation of the killings of beloved director Rob Reiner and his wife Michelle remains underway as new details begin to emerge. Their son Nick Reiner faces murder charges for the fatal stabbings. The family in Hollywood as a whole are reeling from the news. Reiner's fingerprints are impossible to scrub from the movie business. His warm and affable comedy forming the backbone of much-loved classics like The Princess Bride and When Harry Met Sally. As the timeline begins to materialize about the Shakespearean tragedy that befell the Reiners, the couple's children asking for privacy. The LA District Attorney is not ruling out going after the death penalty. The bodies of director Rob Reiner and his wife Michelle have been returned to their families following the fatal stabbings. Let's see, Los Angeles, here it is. Los Angeles County Medical Examiner's Office confirmed Friday the 19th that it has completed its autopsies, establishing that the cause of death was multiple sharp force injuries, which is a really fancy way of saying they were stabbed to death. Let's see, the couple's 32-year-old son briefly appeared in court on December 17th after being medically cleared. Reiner is facing charges on 2 counts of first-degree murder with a special circumstance of multiple murders. He also faces special allegations of using a dangerous and deadly weapon. Reiner's next court date, the arraignment, is scheduled for January 7th. Boy, this whole thing couldn't have been more fucked. It's disappointing. I don't know, Tex. What do you think? I mean, it's Shakespearean tragedy is really kind of a perfect way of putting this.
Yeah, it's terrible. I mean, obviously Rob Reiner, Hollywood legend. It's kind of hard to talk about this one because you can go political with it or not, and both conversations, in my opinion, are just because. I mean, he's well outspoken. Some people say, "Oh, he had TDS," Trump derangement syndrome. No, that's not technically true in my opinion because Rob Reiner has always been far lefty. I mean, he was meathead. That's basically who he was, just the real version. But he was very vocal about things that he said in life. So like with, just like one aspect of the political side, Trump came out and said what he did. I didn't agree with what Trump said. I thought be the better person. If you can't say something nice, just don't say anything. But go back and look at some of the things he said about Trump, and I think that's why he did that. But looking at it from the non-political side, it's obviously a tragedy. You've got a Nepo baby piece of shit that murdered his parents because they cut him off or they did whatever. When you've got a child that is on the things that he is, and you sometimes you get to a point where you just got to cut them off and say, look, you either stop doing what you're doing, go get help, and then you can come home, because I'm not going to have this crap in my house. It's not mama and daddy's fault. It's the kid's fault, and he's a murderous piece of shit. Now, I haven't read a toxicology report on the murderer, on the son. I don't know if they've done one or not. I'm sure they have, to know exactly what he was on. Was it street drugs? Was it like SSRIs? I mean, I don't know what kind of cocktail this dude was on, but that needs to be studied, because obviously that's going to play into it. And I mean, it's like you said, this is a Hollywood tragedy. Just looking at it from a professional aspect, Rob Reiner's a Hollywood icon. He was, I want to say, the earliest memory I have of Rob Reiner, he had like one small part in a Batman episode years ago, like Batman 66 with Adam West. He had like one episode with Riddler, I think it was. I can't remember. But, All in the Family. I know he did, was it Andy Griffith or Happy Days he was on? He was on one of those two shows. I can't remember.
He was on Andy Griffith, and he was in 3 episodes of Gomer Pyle USMC, which was the
okay. I knew there was one other one, but I used to watch a lot of, if y'all remember back in the day, Nickelodeon had the TV channel TV Land that played all the old shows. I used to watch a shitload of TV Land. Is it still on? I mean, I don't know. I don't have cable, but back in the day, my grandparents had cable, and every night we'd watch TV Land with them or whatever when we were over there. But yeah, no, professionally, the dude's made some of the most iconic movies. For him to be as liberal as he was, Rob Reiner knew what Americana was at the same time. So you have to appreciate him for what he did.
I don't know. Casey, what do you think? It's kind of an unfortunate situation all around. What do you think about with Rob Reiner?
The one movie I know him from is from The Wolf of Wall Street. I think.
Yeah, he was the dad. Yeah, he was good in that.
Yeah, and I think he did great in that movie, and he looked like he was definitely made for that spot. But like when I heard about it, it's like I was not following this guy's career, but like it's everywhere on YouTube now. But what I'm hearing is that the whole thing with his son, who's the murderer, they're gonna say that he's probably gonna plead not guilty with
insanity plea.
Yeah, insanity plea because he's got not dementia, but he has some type of brain disease. Can't think of where he has mental issues or something.
I think his problem is that he has a bad drug addiction, and when you've been drug addicted for a long time, it fucks your brain up really bad. So I don't know if he had a pre-existing mental condition. His brain was fucked up from drugs. I was watching Adam Carolla's podcast the other day when he was talking with Dr. Drew, and they were talking about this. And Dr. Drew was saying that oftentimes you can, and this guy knows what he's talking about. He knows all about the addiction stuff. He says you can usually tell by their behavior what kind of drugs they're on. He's like, because, sometimes when you smoke a joint, weed will mellow you out. So you just kind of sit there and you laugh at a TV show and you just kind of veg. Whereas you get some things like meth makes you super hyper. He's like, a lot of times people will commit crimes on meth and not know what happened. It will fuck with their brain to the point where they can't store the memory of what they're doing. So he said would be curious to know if this guy even has any memory of what he did. Because that could be the case, that he just did that while he was cracked out, he did some shit and he didn't even know he was doing it. So after he sobers up, he might legitimately feel bad for what happened. He might literally feel sadness and shame and be mad at himself for killing his own parents.
That's still strange. I don't know. He deserves the chair. You know what I mean?
Oh yeah.
I
It shouldn't absolve him of crime at all.
Right.
But Frank, I looked it up. It says that he has schizophrenia.
Okay. Well,
So
there's lots of people. There's lots of people who have schizophrenia, multiple personalities that don't kill their parents and live just fine. You know, I mean, that's a bullshit excuse. It's
Well, it's a reason, but not. It is not an excuse, I guess you could say, because it's like.
well,
Because I know that Hunter Biden, for all the stupid shit he's done, there's an explanation as to why he acts the way he does. I don't know if a lot of people realize this, but the car accident in which President Biden's wife and daughter were killed back in whatever the hell that happened, 1980 or something like that. Hunter and Bo were both in the car. Bo suffered a relatively minor, like broken arm, broken leg, something relatively minor. Hunter suffered a skull fracture. So it's likely that in that accident, Hunter had a traumatic brain injury and nobody knew it because back then they didn't know what it was. They didn't know anything about traumatic brain injuries. So that could explain his behavior in the recent years, like driving 120 miles an hour in a Maserati while you're doing blow up a hooker's tit. That's not the kind of behavior that most people would do. But the explanation might be that because his brain is messed up and doesn't work right, that's why he behaves the way he does.
Well,
it doesn't absolve him of his crimes. It might be an explanation.
Definitely not.
Then, if that's the case, this is prime example of bring back the freaking asylums and start locking people up who fucking deserve it. But you can't say that anymore, unfortunately.
No,
well, I mean, Reagan's the one that closed down the stuff, so.
Oh no, I agree. No, that's that, and that was completely retarded of him to do because, let's just turn the crazy people out on the freaking street, and this isn't a Republican conservative issue. This is America has a crazy problem, and we need to start putting people on the funny farm. I don't care how you vote. If you're nuts, get the hell out of here. It's bullshit.
I'm like, if he has if it had case of schizophrenia to the point where he kills his father or mother, like that's bad. He definitely should have been in the funny farm, but I mean, I know. I guess they sent him. I'm hearing echo.
All right, thanks.
I'm hearing echo. But I get lost train of thought. But I think he should have been helped if he was diagnosed with schizophrenia. Like his parents should have put him away, be able to put him away if that's a problem. But they were saying that they were adjusting his meds, and obviously he was known.
Well, they fucked up on that part. They didn't do it right.
And where he went to Conan O'Brien's Christmas party, and I guess he was going up to people, and I think that he was asking people are you a celebrity or are you famous or something like that.
That's what I was going to bring up with the whole Conan thing. Have y'all? I read part of something earlier where Conan was telling people not to call the cops or some bullshit. I didn't know if that was real or made up. I haven't had time to look into it. Have y'all heard about this?
No.
I've heard different things about what went down at the party. Some people say that they never saw any argument, but then again, if you were not at a party full of a bunch of people, you might not notice two people having even a kind of a blowout. But I've also heard that it wasn't that they were obviously having a heated discussion, but it wasn't really an argument. That he was coming down on his son for something, but not really yelling at him. That it was a stern talking to that a father occasionally gives to his son. But it wasn't really like a blowout, and that even Conan O'Brien didn't even know that it happened until after the fact because it wasn't as big of a deal. But I don't know. I've heard different things from different people saying that what actually happened. So I don't really know.
I mean, granted, let's say if he did, I mean, I'm sure he didn't want to cause any problems, because he didn't want to make light of it. So like, even if he said, don't call the cops or anything, like, he probably would have not known that anything like that was going to happen. But I could be biased. I am a Conan O'Brien fan. So,
Oh, of
like,
course. You fucking fanboys on the internet ruin everything. Way to go, Casey. Gee.
but
Conan's funny. Conan's funny.
You know, everybody knows Craig Ferguson was the last good late night host. Once he got fired from CBS, I stopped caring. I was a Craig Ferguson guy. I liked him. So,
I was more a Conan O'Brien fan way in the early or mid 90s when he was still working.
Oh, man. Craig Ferguson's Late Show on CBS, that was the shit, man. He was hitting on all them hot Hollywood women, flirting with them and shit with that snake cup and that fucking robot sidekick. That was a great show, man. I loved it. That was great.
But, I mean, it's crazy. I mean, Nick went to a hotel, and I guess when they broke into that hotel, they saw a bunch of blood in that hotel room. Like,
oh, I'm sure.
Like, what? Did they murder?
Yeah, they found both of them in the bedroom. They found both in the bedroom, I think.
Jeez, tragic to hear. I mean, and it was
Brentwood too.
This is another. I mean, going all the way back to the Black Dahlia shit in Hollywood. I mean, you know, Frank, I know you know about this. I mean, Hollywood's a dark place, man. Like a lot of bad shit has happened, and you know, this is just another true crime story that happens in the land of Hollywood. You know, it's, you know, in 20 years, I'm sure that hotel will be on some tour of haunted Hollywood sites or some weird thing. You know what I mean? Yeah. It's just the way these things work. You know what I mean? Here's the John Wayne Gacy house. Here's the side of, you know, where Rob Reiner's murderer went. You know, whatever. That's the way that shit goes down.
Well, that's what's funny is that whole Brentwood neighborhood. It's kind of a magnet for crazy shit because that's where OJ's house was. That's where that's where the OJ murder happened, Brentwood.
Oh yeah, there's people still go to that house and take pictures. Yeah,
the house is gone now. Oh no, I mean OJ's house is gone. The house that he lived in at the time has since been demolished, and another house has been rebuilt. The house where the murders took place, I think the people that bought it actually they rearranged the walls and the bushes and everything in the front so you can't see the walkway happen. So now instead of like you walk by and there's like a gate that looked right to the door, that's where all this shit happened. Now you have to like go down farther and then there's a wall and then you walk in and go to the right, you walk down that wall and then up to where walking past where it all happens. So it's not visible from the road anymore. But
it happens. Is it sick of me if I was one of those people who look into buying a place like that and be like looking around and then I'd be like, where was the murder happening? Where was the body?
Oh, dude, I'd buy a murder house.
That's a big.
Are you kidding me?
That's a big money maker. Dude, people have been like for years.
I would like if I had the money, I would so own a famous murder house. Hell yes, I would. That'd be fucking amazing. Are you kidding me?
The house where the Manson family murdered Sharon Tate and all those people was there for years, and I believe that was it Trent Reznor or somebody else. I forget who. I think it was Trent Reznor. Actually rented the house for several years, or not for several years, for several months to record one of his albums there, because over the years people had bought it and sold it and bought it and sold it, and I think he eventually had rented it. Because I guess somebody had put a recording studio in it. So he recorded like parts of one of his albums in the house where Sharon Tate was murdered by the Manson family. And eventually somebody was just like, screw it, they got tired of, because as I recall, when you go up Cielo Drive, you go the house where the Manson family murdered all those people, it's the very end of Cielo Drive. It was like a dead end. And then you had to go through a gate. You had to go another several hundred feet up to the house on the driveway. And that's how you get to the house. Because it wasn't very visible anyway. It's not like you could see it from the street. But that whole canyon area down there, if you were just like on the opposite canyon, there wasn't a whole lot of trees around the one side of it. So you could just like with some binoculars or just with your eyes see the house. And they were just kind of like, you know what? I guess they wanted to sell it. And finally people were kind of like, why would we want to buy the Manson house? And so they finally just tore it down, and there's another house that was eventually built on the property that is not known as the Manson house, so nobody wants to go see it anymore.
It's kind of like, it makes me think like when
house on fucking Wonderland Drive, Wonderland murders happened is still there.
Whatever happened to the ranch that the Manson family were staying on, where they used to shoot all the old movies? Did they ever do anything with that?
Yeah, it's still there.
Is it still there? I didn't know if they ever messed with it or what. Spawn Ranch.
I don't know.
I couldn't remember.
I don't know who owns it now.
See, I suspect.
I know I'm spelling it wrong. Yeah, I spelled it wrong. Spawn Ranch. Yep.
See, if I'm thinking of this time when Tex gets rich, I suspect that he'll go on a tour on all these murder places just to check them out. That's why I.
100%. Yeah. Oh, dude, I'm buying the original because just here in Texas alone, just on the movie side, I'm buying the gas station and the house where the original Texas Chainsaw Massacre were filmed at. And I'm going to go buy the house from the 2003 Chainsaw movie. Then I'm going to buy the Elm Street and Michael Myers house out in Pasadena, California, just so I can own this shit. Like you'll know if I ever get rich because my house is going to look like the Munsters. That's how you know I made it. So it's going to be sweet. So, there will be I won't tell you I'm a billionaire, but there will be signs. Like, I'm suddenly going to just look like Herman Munster all the time for whatever reason. So you'll figure it out. So it'll be cool.
Yeah, Spawn Ranch was, let's see. Let me go back to the beginning here. Movie Ranch, blah, blah, blah. After a decline in use for filming by the 50s, its owner, George Spawn, established a stable for renting horses and riding. Let's see. Let me go to the movies real quick. It was used for episodes of The Lone Ranger with Clayton Moore, several episodes of the Bonanza TV series, and it is often cited as the filming location of the B movie The Creeping Terror from 1964.
Oh, it was tons of movie and TV back in the day.
Yes, 68 and 69 was when the Manson family was there. Let's see, on August 16th, 1969, after the Tate LaBianca murders, there were actually, a lot of people don't realize there was actually two different murders that happened. One was the Sharon Tate murder, one was the LaBianca murders. More than 100 officers from the Special Enforcement Detail, or the SWAT team of Los Angeles County Sheriff's Department, were deployed at Spawn Ranch, what authors Tom O'Neill and Dan Piepenbring have alleged is the largest documented police raid in California history. That may have been at that time. I'm pretty sure they beat it by then. But
sorry.
Yeah. It's now it's been incorporated as a state park.
Oh, okay. So imagine you're out in California with little Bobby and Susie, your children, and you're throwing a frisbee to them, right? Camping out at the state park, and then, here's where Manson used to do, heroin and shrooms, kids, and that's just a quality day out there at the state park with the family. By God, it's something else. Crazy.
That's what I'm thinking. Is like I think Tex would be a perfect real estate agent when you have to get rid of
spooky real estate agent. I dress like Vincent Price everywhere I go with that long cigarette, look all spooky and shit. That'd be cool. I could do that
because you'll be the guy who probably helped to sell the house because it's like this is where this murder was. So you're trying to sell the house.
Well, not just show them where the murder was, but I pose in the floor how I leave the chalk line on the floor from where the body was, and there's where he stabbed her. She fell over the couch and landed this way. I act the whole thing out. I could be a good sales agent for the creepy for the creepy side of life. That might be a career path for me in the future. I mean, hey, come by my abandoned, formerly haunted asylum. It's got 15 ghosts in here. That'd be a great house to live in. It'd be cool.
See, that's what I'm saying. There's a future for you.
Northern DC is saying that the hotel staff said the room that his son was staying in had blood all over the place. So That doesn't really surprise me.
Wow.
If he stabbed 2 people,
Well,
I'd imagine he had some blood on him. You know what I mean?
Well, and now I haven't heard if Rob or his wife fought back. He could have also had injuries to himself that was also bleeding. I mean, I haven't heard. I mean, who knows? But yeah, if you just stabbed
my guess, judging from the way that the scene is described, is that they were probably in bed late that night or early that morning. And he went in there and did what he did. And maybe one was in bed, the other one had managed to get up and try to fight or get away. But they were both found in the bedroom, from what I've heard. I also heard that their throats were cut, but that wasn't something that was described in the other articles, so that may not be entirely accurate. So
no, I heard their throat was slashed. So that's what I heard.
I heard that. I haven't heard anybody else talk about it since, so that may or may not be true. It doesn't really matter at the end of the day. They're both dead, but you know.
Yeah.
Well, that was my point. Was otherwise we're getting into some like Ronnie DeFeo, Amityville type stuff here of like one person killed the whole family and nobody got up and fought back or anything. And I'm not saying this is an Amityville thing, just using that as an example. But if I'm laying next to somebody and they're being murdered, I like to think I'm at least going to hear it and do something. Like, you know what I mean? Like that to me is kind of odd, but I'm not speculating he had help or whatever because I have no evidence. But,
I'm assuming, like, I'm going to make an assumption he probably killed Rob first and then probably her.
Oh, of course, yeah. Well, if you're going to kill it,
maybe
if you're going to take out a couple, you go after the one who can fight you back first, and then while you know the woman is grieving, then you do that bidding. But you know, yeah, that's old hat. You know.
But it's sad, honestly, like to hear something about that. Same thing, like God, hearing about Greg Biffle and his family dying. That's why I hate. This is why I hate listening about that. But
bad news is always amplified during the holidays too, which is an old adage.
Yeah.
It's like they have to offset the happiness and the joy with shitty news. You know what I mean?
Oh yeah.
So, Casey, you're saying you're not going to take credit for these Hollywood deaths? I know you're famous for that. Are you not taking credit for this one?
Yeah, I want to point out that Dick Van Dyke made it to 100, by the way.
Oh my God, that's it. Casey actually killed the Reiners because he was mad that Dick Van Dyke got to 100. So he was like, you know what? I have to make an example out of these people. I'm going to do something harsh here. And we're really going to do this one bloody. That's what, oh my God. Casey,
we're going to murder this guy and his wife. We're going to smear blood all over his son's hotel room. We're going to be like, he did it.
Yeah. Yeah.
Did you also smear blood on the white Bronco, Casey?
Son of a bitch.
You know what? Drew was the first one who brought that up. Like, he's like, Casey, I saw Dick Van Dyke slip through your grip. I was like, what are you talking about? I was like, he made it 100. It's like, oh my God, I still get credit for this shit.
Casey, like, now I told you a long time ago, just go watch the original Lake Placid movie with Betty White, where she's a monster in that movie that raises alligators that kill people. You were justified in that murder. That's literally the only example you need. So, you know, it's just one of those things.
You get one thing right just by coincidence. People think that you're the producer of death forever.
Who was that one actress oh, go ahead. I'm sorry. Go ahead.
I was going to say, do you guys want to do a movie list while we're here? Because I have a horror one that I think Tex might want to pontificate on for a little while.
I'm down for a list.
Let me click the all the share stuff. Again.
I'm sure Casey can use his vast and the knowledge of the horror films that he knows better than me on. Because I mean, everybody knows Casey's the real horror guy. I'm just the novice. I don't know shit.
You know, I'm sure he can try, but the topic is 12. The topic is 12 horror franchises that desperately need a requel. That's the cross between a sequel and a requel, kind of like what they ended up doing with the Halloween movies. Most recently, Halloween,
Scream. It's when they make it's it's when they technically the first film is still canon, but they change things up, and it's just a loose term. It's a bullshit term, but yeah.
I'll be right back.
Okay.
The first one is Friday the 13th. It says here we've seen Ghostface and Michael Myers slashing the big screen lately, but it's been far too long since Friday the 13th fans have returned to Camp Crystal Lake to see Jason Voorhees carve a new path in his legacy. The last time fans saw Jason on the big screen was the highly forgettable and malign 2009 reboot, which is not how Jason
off. I love that movie.
Best
Jason movie ever.
Unfortunately, a big reason that Jason has been on such a hiatus is due to there being a big copyright legal battle between the original film's writer, Victor Miller, and director-producer Sean S. Cunningham. However, it seems like the case is heading towards some kind of conclusion, so it's possible that Jason could be out of legal hell. Funny pun there. And all prepped for a big-time return. I don't know, Tex, what do you think? I mean, we've already got the TV show, apparently it's in the works. Apparently a new movie they were talking about forever. I don't know. What do you think? A requel? How far back did they go? Where do you think they put it in the original timeline?
I think this list is out of date because Horror Inc. has the rights. The lawsuit has already been settled, which is why the Jason universe, as it's been proclaimed, is a thing, and why they're getting the show based on his mother. Allegedly, there's a movie in the works. I'll believe it whenever I'm sitting in the theaters watching it. But no, I completely agree. I would love to see a proper Jason film of a bunch of horny hot women drinking in the woods and having premarital sex and Jason fucking them up. You already have my money, Hollywood. Why aren't you doing this? So yeah, give me some kind of requel, but don't make it all woke and weird. Just drunk teens in the woods get killed having sex. That's all it needs to be. Real simple.
I should point out this article is a little bit old. I've been sitting on this one for a while in my bookmark list about one.
I figured so. Yeah, because that's
a little old, several months ago. But anyway, yeah, I would love to see Friday the 13th come back. My big question is, if you're going to do a requel, do you go all the way back and make this a sequel to the first film, or do you kind of like make it a sequel to like the third film when the franchise was still doing fairly well? Or do you just assume that Jason made his way back from space? I don't know if when you say requel, which is what the title of this article suggests, I'm thinking that you're going to cut out the last several movies and got to go back to a point and reset to a point where the franchise had not kind of lost its way. But it's kind of, that's my question mark is, are you going to do?
I know what I would.
Or are you going to go all the way back to the beginning? What would you do?
I would kind of because. What do you have when you're out camping in the woods? You have campfires, right? So I would not erase any sequel because technically that you're going to erase canon. This would be the 13th Friday the 13th movie, even though a couple of them weren't named that because of legal issues. I would treat every one of these films as if they were in canon, but they would be ghost stories that people heard throughout the years. So you don't necessarily know what's true or not. So you could keep like part 5 where technically Roy was the killer, but it was Jason or whatever. You have a new film. It's a bunch of people that go to Camp Blood, Camp New Green, Camp Crystal Lake, whatever they're calling it this time. Every film is technically canon, so you literally can pull from 12 films to build the story for this. You have your simple teens in the woods having sex, getting drunk, and dying story, and whoever this version of Tommy Jarvis is going to be. Maybe even bring back a older Tommy Jarvis, because that actor has done it a couple times in Friday the 13th fan films. You could also do that. I can't remember who played the adult Tommy Jarvis, but no, I wouldn't erase any of them. I would still do a requel, whatever you want to call it. And just treat them as ghost stories of, oh, well, I heard this one, I heard that one. And it'd be a fun way of playing it off.
I never heard of a requel before. Is that like, you saying that's like just a, is that like a reboot or something like that? Like a sequel?
It's a loose reboot is what it is. It's kind of like how Halloween 2018. Oh, go ahead.
Well, I'd say technically speaking, the new Terminator movie, Dark Fate, was a requel. It actually acts as a
so was Genesis
to Terminator 2. I think Genesis was meant to reset everything, but that didn't work. So it wasn't really a requel as much as it was just kind of a straight up reboot. But yeah, Terminator Dark Fate was supposed to serve as a sequel to Terminator 2, kind of ignoring Terminator 3 and everything that came after it.
Let's see, was it Dark Fate where they go back in time and kill John Connor, and the savior was going to be the illegal Mexican girl? Was that one?
Yeah, I think so.
That was Dark Fate, yeah.
Oh God, that movie fucking sucked. I walked out of that one. I didn't even finish that year.
It had a lot of promise. It had a lot of promise, but it was still missing a lot of, like, killing John Connor. I was just like, you just kind of ruined the whole franchise.
They turned the Terminator into like a gardener, basically, that liked flowers. Like, what is? Just completely cut his balls off. What is wrong with you people? Horrible.
Yeah,
Arnold got his balls cut off, so I mean it kind of fit, but I don't know, whatever.
No, that's true. Yeah.
Let's move on to the next one now. The next one is Gremlins. Maybe it's time to scrap the idea of Gremlins 3 being a sequel and make it more of a requel. Frankly, the Gremlins franchise doesn't have the wide notoriety that other horror franchises like Scream or Texas Chainsaw Massacre continue to have. It's always been seen more as a beloved cult classic. However, its dormancy since the 90s has kept it in more in the shadows. So the idea of a sequel might not garner the same kind of enthusiasm it would have decades ago. Plus, it's not like Gremlins 2, the new batch, is exactly a box office success. So Warner Brothers would be better off getting a clean start. I disagree. I think a straight-up sequel wouldn't be a bad idea at all.
Well, they've already announced Gremlins 3 just a few weeks ago. That's why I say this is an old list. But yeah, I don't know. I don't want to reboot. Number one, I don't think we need a Gremlins 3. Let's leave it at 2. The 2 that we have are good. The legacy sequel thing, I think we beat that to death for most of these franchises. But no, I want a straight up sequel, not a requel of Gremlins.
The problem is doing these long separated sequels is that, like, they don't work out.
Right. Well, that's what I'm saying. Yeah.
Like, every Top Gun Maverick, we have one that's like 5 other ones that are like horrible. Like even Bill and Ted 3 wasn't even that great. You know, it was okay. It was nowhere near the 2 first Bill and Ted movies. So I'm afraid if they do a Gremlins 3, a sequel from
I think they're gonna fuck it up. I don't expect it to be good. I really don't.
I think either or it's going to be fucked because honestly, the Gremlins not going to look like that. It's going to look very CGI. Like
watch them have like they're going to do a transgender gremlin that Gizmo is now, Gizmet, and he changed his pronouns or something. That's the Gremlins movie that they're going to make these days of some sort.
No, that's one of the things you had. Of course, that's one of the things you got to worry about. But I mean, obviously, it's not going to look as good as that right there. It's going to look too CGI. Like, yeah, they'll probably make it look okay, but I still think you'd need like puppets, like something like that, to make it look almost.
Oh, well, I'm sure. I mean, the only thing I've seen out of Gremlins 3 is I've seen a poster, which I'm not sure if it's an official poster or not, but I have seen that Gremlins 3 has been greenlit. Now, once again, I don't know how far along they are. They could be pre-production, script writing. I don't know what stage they are. But actually, it was AJ that sent me the announcement of them doing this a few weeks ago. I don't think it's going to be any good. Like, with these long legacy sequels, I go in with little to no expectation and just hope I'm not too disappointed at this point. So, yeah.
Like, obviously, I was super happy how Top Gun Maverick, but like I
think Top Gun Maverick is as good, maybe better than the original, And I know that's hard to believe, but that movie was awesome. I thought that was really good. I like it.
I think it's on par with the original. I
Yeah.
can't surpass it because I mean,
So what we know about Gremlins 3 right now is it's slated to come out November 19th of 2027. Chris
Yeah.
Columbus is going to be directing it. Spielberg is going to be involved, but it's not know how. He's probably just going to be a producer.
That's what I
let's
figured.
see. And that's, let's see, the new Gremlins movie will reportedly rely on practical effects instead of CGI. Good on them. That's going to make it better.
Good.
And that's what we know so far. Everything else is just kind of like, who the hell knows?
Well, these days, I mean, the reason why Spielberg is so involved in the sequels of his movies is because of what happened to Jaws. The first film was incredible, and by Jaws 3D, nobody gave a crap anymore. Like, they ruined it. That's why he's still, you know. And if you put, oh, this is a film made by Steven Spielberg, that gets butts in the seats just on that alone. That's why his name's on there.
Yeah, I'm going to skip a couple of these ones that I don't really care about because I don't think they're necessary. The next one is going to be A Nightmare on Elm Street. I don't know. This is one of the OG horror franchises that made horror great. I don't know. What do you think, Tex? Is it time for a requel?
Well, no, I think you got to reboot that one because otherwise, if you don't have Robert Englund, well, number one, I think Nightmare on Elm Street is kind of doomed. And I think Terrifier is going to be the same way because both of those characters are so identified by the person that played them, unfortunately. If you don't have Robert Englund as Freddy, people are going to revolt. And even if you do a requel, Robert Englund's not a spring chicken. I saw him a couple years ago at an autograph signing. He's in no shape to be jumping around and doing stunts with Freddy Krueger. And he's already said he's not doing the makeup anymore. So I think the Craven estate, I would love to see a new Nightmare on Elm Street. Do I have any hope for it? No, because like I said, I think that is one of those roles that's so tied to Robert Englund. I don't think anybody's going to accept somebody else as that character, unfortunately. I think it's kind of fucked.
Oh, sorry. I was going to say, what about if they have, like, I mean, people make molds of people's faces. I mean, honestly, the one that got famous for a mold of a face that got sued was the Back to the Future 2 movie. But let's say he says it's okay to make my face as the Freddy face going on. Would that be okay for you?
It's not Freddy's face, that it was Robert Englund himself. It was the man behind the makeup that made Freddy Krueger popular. It was his mannerisms, his comedic timing, the walk that he had. Because let's not forget, Robert Shea didn't originally hire Robert Englund back after the original Nightmare. They just brought in some other guy because he was going to be cheaper. And it was awful. Even the people on cast were like, no, you need to go get Robert Englund back. He knows this character. This is his character. And they brought him back, and Freddy Krueger became an icon. And, you know, I mean, Frank can talk about the whole 2010 Nightmare on Elm Street. He knows how horrible that thing was. And they even, who was the guy that played Rorschach that played Freddy? I can't remember his name.
James Earl Haley, I think.
Yeah, Jackie Earl Haley. Thank you. Jackie Earl Haley, I love his acting. I love him as Rorschach in Watchmen. And he could have been a good Freddy Krueger. But people love Robert Englund so much as Freddy. I just don't think it's ever going to work again. It's not like Michael Myers or Jason or Leatherface where it's just somebody behind the mask. If your killer has personality like Art the Clown or Freddy Krueger, you are linked to the actor that brought that to screen. And it's going to be, I mean, I would love to hear the Craven estate announce, oh, there's a new Nightmare on Elm Street in production tomorrow. I'll be there opening day. But I have little hope that there's no way it's ever going to be as good as Robert Englund. That's the bottom line.
Let's see, another movie that I wanted to discuss was, I don't know, not one of my favorite movies, but it was My Bloody Valentine, another horror slasher of the 80s that deserves more attention than it gets. Thanks to its unique killer. The murderer has a pretty haunting look that instills chills into everyone that comes across him, and the film features a bevy of memorable kills. Plus, it has a wild final twist with its killer that always presented the potential for more. That's why My Bloody Valentine needs a requel that'll continue its storyline. And blah 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 on this. I don't know. What do you think, Tex? Is this worthy of a requel?
Well, technically, they already got one in the early 2000s. They did My Bloody Valentine 3D with Jensen Ackles and a bunch of like the CW actors. I love the 2009 My Bloody Valentine 3D. I like the original My Bloody Valentine 3D. The minors are great, understated 80s slasher. I'd love to see another one. Now I do think Hard Eyes that recently came out this year is kind of in the same vein as My Bloody Valentine, just in a different way. I do think we could see another one. I'd be there for it. Hell, I just went and saw the new Silent Night, Deadly Night requel that just came out with Rowan Campbell, and it was okay. It wasn't anything to write home about. I'd say it's like a 6 out of 10, maybe a 6.5. But I'm down for a My Bloody Valentine, especially you put it out on February 14th. It's an instant seller, just like Hard Eyes was. Hard Eyes kind of proved that My Bloody Valentine could still work. And, who wouldn't want a box of chocolates with a human heart in it? That's the perfect gift to give your lady on Valentine's Day. I mean, that's it'll make her life better.
I got no comment on this.
Well, Casey, you're a horror genius. Don't hold back. I know you know all this stuff. Like, you can talk. It's fine. I know you know this better than me. No worries.
This one just happened. This just happened to slip under my radar.
Casey's just trying to make me look like I know something. That's all Casey's doing.
One of the old school films I wouldn't mind seeing a comeback is The Creature from the Black Lagoon. Even after the collapse of the Dark Universe, Universal is clearly so interested in trying to bring its classic horror monsters into the modern horror world. Lee Whannell's take on The Invisible Man created a modern horror tale of gaslighting and abuse, while Chris McKay's Renfield put a genre-bending spin on Dracula. Now it's time for Universal to deliver a modern take on one of their more beloved monster movies, The Creature from the Black Lagoon. While a simple modern take would be fine and dandy, it would be cool to see Universal deliver a sequel that brings in some of the history and lore of the original films. I think you can do something with this. I'm the idea of it kind of excites me. I don't know. What do you think, Tex?
About 15 or so years ago, Rob Zombie was going to remake The Creature from the Black Lagoon, and I was excited as hell. But it fell through. And then The Dark Universe fell through. Then all of those other movies that, let's not forget the Tom Cruise Mummy movie that was absolute dog shit. I did not like, and me, I'm a Saw fan. I love Lee Whannell. Literally a icon in Saw. Help bring it to life. I hated his Invisible Man. They turned it into an allegory of men are evil and they're going to beat you up and yada yada whatever. Just woke garbage. As much as I would love to see a good version of The Creature. I would love to see a full-on Universal Monsters reboot, like we got Frankenstein meets the Wolfman and House of Dracula, and throw them all in there. House of Frankenstein, whatever. I still watch classic horror. I just don't think Hollywood knows how to make those movies anymore. That's the problem.
I agree. And sadly, today's age, unless it's a for sure thing, they don't want to take that chance. And then it's not just the movie industry; it's the video game industry. It is the same thing. Like, if it's not a for sure thing, they don't want to take that jump anymore. And so, I would love to see another Creature from the Black Lagoon. I used to love going on vacation, family vacation, and we would put this on VHS tape, and we would watch the black and white version. And
best way to watch it.
Well, yeah, and I think we had the colored version too, and then I think we had the one where they made him a human, or they're trying to make him a human. But obviously, this was the better one. So that brings a lot of memories back to me. So, like, but I would love to see them to redo it, but for them to do it right, I don't believe they could do it.
I
I
don't think
feel
they have the skill.
no, and I think honestly, I mean, I think this is something they might be able to pull off. I know this is double because, I mean, honestly, they could put whoever behind that mask, or they don't even have to have someone dressed up as that. It could be all CGI.
Oh no, it's got no. You got to have practical effects. Somebody in the suit. Otherwise, it's bullshit. That's the only way to do it.
I agree, I wish it would be almost like that, but I don't know. I would love to see another one, but I don't see it they'll ever do another one. But I'd definitely go to see if it's a re-sequel or it's a reboot. I'll go watch a new one. But I'm not gonna give too much faith it's gonna be any good.
Right.
So the most recent news about a remake was from August of last year. It said it was announced that James Wan was in talks to direct a remake. Sean Tretta was reported to be set to write the screenplay based on the treatment by Wan, Raphael Jordan, and Brian Coyne. I don't know if that would be any good or not, but I mean, I'm down for a. I don't want them to try to make it like a modern monster movie. I would like them to see it making something nostalgic. I want it to feel like the original.
Oh yeah.
If they try to make it, if they try to reboot a universe or something out of this, I think they're going to end up paying too much attention to what could be and not enough attention to what is. You got to make one good movie before you can make three good movies. You know what I mean? If you don't make the first one good and the second, third one, they're going to fucking matter. You're going to get them off the board.
Yeah.
I mean, hell, we've had 2 Frankenstein movies this year alone. I mean, we had the one from Guillermo del Toro, and the second one is about it's called The Bride. It was the one that I talked about whenever y'all reviewed Frankenstein with Maggie Gyllenhaal directing, with Christian Bale's playing Frankenstein's creature and everything else. But it's more of like a natural born killers with Frankenstein's monster and the bride than a traditional Frankenstein tale. But I'd love to see a full slate of old school Universal monster movies, but with modern tools, but not modern sensibilities. Go back, make them like they did back then, make them tales of morality without beating you over the head like they did with that Lee Winnell, Invisible Man movie where every man is a rapist and they're going to kill you. That was bullshit. But whatever.
Well, let me ask you something. Would you do it look like that where it's black and white? Because I think it'd be cool in black and white.
Well, you could do just like, look at Zack Snyder's Justice League. He shot the film and then they put it out on HBO Max in color or in black and white. You can watch it either way. That's easy to do today. Just go change the color on the picture. That's not hard to do.
Oh, true, but I think it'd be badass if they would do it all in black and white.
Well, actually, you know what? They, Frank, you remember Nosferatu from last Christmas, right? How that was technically in color, but many scenes looked very black and white. So they kind of compromised in the middle.
It was very sepia tone. There was a little bit of dark blue in there as well because they were going for like the dark aesthetic. There wasn't a lot of like red and blue and yellow, a lot of bright colors. There was a lot of subdued color. So it wasn't straight up black and white, but they were definitely going for a darker tone.
Right.
I think it'd be actually more like if you put the music and then like it's kind of like how in this movie, because it's not easy to see what's in the water and it's black and white, and it kind of set that tone that like, it's almost like Jaws like that. I feel like if you would put color on it, I feel like you kind of damper it a little bit. Honestly.
Well, Casey, have you ever seen the original 1968 Night of the Living Dead by George Romero?
No.
Okay, well, obviously the original was black and white, but they later came out and colorized the film. I didn't know if you had seen both versions or not. I was
No.
Okay. Right.
I did. It was probably just once, but I don't think so.
Okay.
Yeah, one more movie I want to talk about before we wrap this up and get out of here. I know Tex, you're going to have a lot of things to say about this. I think we need to do prom night. We already know that Jamie Lee Curtis was game for coming back as Laurie Strode for Blumhouse's modern Halloween trilogy. So maybe she'd be up for reprising her role from Prom Night for a requel as well. As a whole, the original film was a standard slasher that has a cut and dry ending. That doesn't mean that there isn't some cool potential to see it return and have a similar feel to Halloween. Like Laurie, Curtis's character Kim could process her trauma of being a survivor after her brother Alex went on a killing spree decades earlier. Now, as her own child or grandkid's prom night comes around, her greatest fears comes to life as a new killer returns to turn her prom night into a bloodbath. I don't know. What do you think? Tex? You want to see another horror turn for JLC?
Well, first of all, fuck you, Frank. You're an asshole. That's first of all. But secondly, I'm going to pivot here. I'm going to say, yes, I want a sequel, but not off of that Jamie Lee Curtis bullshit, off of the early 2000s Prom Night, which was already a requel of this movie or a remake of this movie, and just go do it off of that because fuck Jamie Lee Curtis. Let her go eat her poop yogurt because all she uses horror for is a paycheck and put her trauma into everything. You can go to hell, Jamie Lee Curtis. You suck. Thank you very much.
And by the way, I mean,
full of bitterness still built up.
Hey, the only reason for years she shit on horror. Oh, I'm not going back. I'm doing real movies now. The only reason she came back to Halloween was because Blumhouse gave her so much goddamn money she couldn't say no, and they let her put in her political correctness woke agenda bullshit, and they ruined the Blumhouse Halloween trilogy. I will not be forgiven for what Halloween Ends alone shall not be forgiven. Death penalty. No, death penalty is too good. Life in prison, and we keep her alive with life-saving technology, but she stays in prison. That's what Jamie Lee Curtis does. Thank you very much.
You know, honestly, I mean, the last movie I remember her from was True Lies. And after that, it was like maybe she was in like the horror franchise after that.
No, she was in. Okay, have you ever seen Psycho from the 60s?
Yeah.
Do you know who Janet Leigh is?
Yeah.
The woman who gets stabbed. That's her mother. You realize that, right?
Oh, really?
Yes. The only reason Jamie Lee Curtis was cast in Halloween was because John Carpenter was a big Psycho fan, and he wanted to cast a horror icon's daughter in his movie. Jamie Lee Curtis is not good in the first. She's not even that great of an actress, in my opinion. Was it the Boogeyman? As a matter of fact, it was. She's not even a good actress. Okay, I know everybody sucks her invisible dick that she probably has because she's really a dude. And fuck Jamie Lee Curtis. I hate her.
Well, she sounds like she hurt you in the like
Casey,
sexual way.
I don't have enough time or weed tonight to properly explain my hatred of this cunt, Jamie Lee Curtis. Frank's seen it. Frank knows how I will get behind my steeple and I will preach to the masses. Jamie Lee Curtis is not the end-all be-all of Scream Queens. Marilyn Burns from the Texas Chainsaw Massacre does not get recognized as the Scream Queen when she should. It goes to that whore Jamie Lee Curtis and her stupid poop yogurt. Fuck off, Jamie.
Well, I'm just saying the last time I actually seen her in any movie was True Lies, and she was okay, and that's when she was still kind of attractive at that time. But after that, I was like, I mean, I'm sure she was in some Disney crap movies.
She was in that, what's that one where they swap?
Oh, yeah, where
I can't think of the name of it.
I think it was 13 going 30 or something like that.
Parent Trap, or not Parent, whatever. She's been in a bunch of bullcrap stuff. The only reason she ever got famous was she's literally a Hollywood nepo baby that used horror as a platform to, I'm a proper actress now. She did that till nobody cared, and then all of a sudden, here comes right back to Halloween because, you know, that's where she's, that's the only reason she was ever famous. I can't stand Jamie Lee Curtis. I hate that horror.
I think
So what you're saying is you don't want her to come back and play this role.
if yes, you are correct. I hope she trips and falls in dog shit on her way to get the role. Is what I'm saying. Yeah, no, I'm good. No, thank you.
You know what? While Tex is all pissed off because my dream is to actually go watch a movie with Tex and watch one of these horror movies, and then because I know it'll never happen, but I want to sit right beside Tex, and then right during the movie, like every 5 minutes, I'll be, "Hey, Tex, what's all this about right there?" Like,
Casey,
why?
have you ever been punched in the throat by a grown man? You want to? Go ahead, try it. I dare you.
During the movie, I'm going to stab you.
I will pull a Scream 2 and gut you in the theater. I don't mind. I'm not above it, but no.
I'll make sure I'll sit right beside you while I'll ask you.
Number one, dudes don't sit next to each other. That's gay. We don't do that. I demand a minimum of a 1 seat difference. But 2, you know,
it wasn't that kind of theater. I mean, you do what you got. I mean, whatever. I mean, because I know the night that we went to see Avengers Endgame, I mean, that theater was packed that night. So
okay, well,
Aaron went.
If it's a packed theater, then fine. But you touch me, like you said, I'm stabbing you because we don't do that here. But you know, but in case just so you know, I will not go to the movies with you if Hobo Jim also does not come with you. He has to be there and talk about Harry Potter during your Rocky movie. If Hobo Jim doesn't show up, you can't come out. All right, just know that ahead of time.
But while I asking you these questions, I'm obviously not whispering. I'm like saying full voice volume, saying, "Hey, Tex, what's going on here now?" You know. So the whole hear me.
Don't be the loud person in the theater. Though I just went and saw the new Sydney Sweeney movie the other day, The Housemaid, which everybody needs to go see, by the way. And I openly yelled, "Would you shut the hell up" during the middle of the film, because these 2 stupid broads 5 rows in front of me wouldn't shut up in the middle of the film while I'm trying to watch Sydney Sweeney get naked on screen. They are interrupting my enjoyment. Okay. So they had to be told to kindly shut the hell up. That's just how those things work. So, yeah.
Honestly, if I think that happens, I think you have every right to do that. And like,
Casey, you know, you wonder why you get picked on, then you do dumbassery like this. Have you ever considered that, though? Huh? My God, Casey.
Yeah, I used to hang out with a guy a long time ago who he was one of those guys that couldn't keep his voice down in the theater. He would just talk at full, like not yell, but like talk at regular voice, like he was just in a regular room. And and the last time I went to a movie, what the hell did we go to see? I want to say it was so long ago. I want to say it was Freddy versus Jason was the last movie that me and him
saw together.
That was that long.
Holy crap! That was what, 2004? Something?
It was a long time ago. But yeah, I since cut this dude out of my life because he just got too fucking. He was just a prick. He's just too much drama, too much bullshit. So I just stopped talking to him. But we had gone to that movie. Me and the girl I was dating at the time went with him and somebody else. I forget who. And I finally just got up like mid-movie and went to the other side of the fucking theater because he would not stop fucking talking to me. Like, it wasn't just like he would whisper something like, "What about this? What about that?" It's like, that annoys me enough, but as long as you're not being an obnoxious twat, then I'm okay with it. But he was just like, "Hey, that's kind of retarded they did that." And people kept like turning around and looking at him. I was like, dude, I fucking just got up and walked to the side of the theater and sat down.
Well,
And on the way out, I was like, dude, I was about to punch you in the fucking throat about 10 minutes in that movie. I was like, I told him flat out, I said, I will never go to a movie theater with you ever again. And I never did.
It's one, like, I am perfectly fine if they tell a joke in a movie, you laugh and say, oh, that's funny as hell, or something shocking happens, you go, oh my God, holy shit, or whatever. Perfectly acceptable. But if you're carrying on a conversation during the middle of the fucking movie, I hope you get punched in the throat and you fall in a wood chipper on the way out. I cannot stand that. The only thing that's worse than the talker in a movie is the person that buys the loudest candy possible and struggles to open the package. I want to do violent things. I want to go full on Jason Voorhees on those people with no regret whatsoever. I hate them. They drive me crazy.
Yeah, I still say it's rare that I have a problem in a movie theater with other people. But generally speaking, it's not like I'm in LA and New York where showings like on opening night are always sold out. Because that's what Aaron called me when Star Wars Force Awakens came out. He's like, dude, we better get tickets that fast. They're going to sell out. I'm like, you don't understand where you're at. We're in Ohio. Friday night, the theater's going to be like Friday and Saturday. Friday night of opening night for a big movie, the theaters might be full. But by Saturday morning for the first showing, it's almost empty. And you go Saturday night, you're lucky to see a half full theater. So I'm just like, we're not in LA. It's not going to be sold out every showing within 100 miles of us for the first time. We're not there.
The problem is nowadays, if you don't see a movie opening day, by the time the first couple showings are done, you know everything that's happening because stupid social media ruins it for everybody, even if you're not looking for spoilers. If you've ever Googled the name of that movie, they're going to send them to you. That's why, like with Stranger Things 5, the finale, the finale is going to be in theaters. You know, we talked about this a couple of weeks ago, or whenever I was on last time, however long ago that was when we reviewed the episode. I've got tickets to go see the finale in theaters. So Christmas Day, I'm going to watch the next 3 episodes of Stranger Things 5. I'm going to learn all about it, do everything I need to do, and then like 2 days before New Year's Eve, when I go see the finale, I'm literally deleting X off of my phone because I do not want it to be spoiled. I'm paying to go see this in theaters, driving an hour to go see it. I do not want to be spoiled. So that's the only way. And, you know, it is what it is.
A little bit of breaking news. There's been a PG&A substation explosion in California, and San Francisco is experiencing a massive blackout. Funny.
Oh, gee.
Well, 130,000 people without power. That's kind of crazy. I was actually, the only reason I came over here to YouTube proper to look is because I wanted to see if the Avengers Doomsday trailer has dropped yet, because it came out this weekend with...
No, which one? The one where Captain America, or isn't Captain America, he's holding his baby? Yeah, I saw that one already.
Hold on. We're not. I know it's the way it was described. It's not really much, and I don't think any of these are going to be a very big deal. But I've heard a lot of things about exactly how accurate all that is. So I really just want to see it. Well, I was planning on going to see Avatar today, but I didn't make it to the theater. I'll probably go see it tomorrow.
I've seen the Captain America one in person, because whenever I went to go see The Housemaid, I stuck right after my movie ended, I snuck into the next theater, which had Avatar in it, and I waited until the trailer showed, and it was literally the Steve Rogers when it was described exactly as it was. And I'm sure the Thor one and all the other ones are just like they've been described, but who knows? So I don't know.
Hey, Tex, we gotta say hi to AJ.
What's up, AJ?
We ignored him. I'm sorry, man.
My phone is literally on the other side of the room on my charger, and I am too high to deal with it right now. So you are going to have to forgive me. So after the day I've had, it's the only thing keeping me positive right now. So,
I
what's up, man?
apologize. I should have said hi earlier.
I'm just going to blame Casey because he's here. It's all his fault, dude. I'm sorry. Casey should have let me know. Casey, you're an asshole. What the hell?
Yeah, I'm gonna have to go. I'm gonna have to see it when I see the actual movie.
Well, it's online if you really want to see it without paying to see that stupid Avatar.
Well, I mean, it's on. I'm gonna go see Avatar anyway. I thought the last Avatar movie was a lot better than the first one. It was more of a straight up war movie, which I thought was kind of a lot funner. But yeah, I'm not.
I thought Doomsday was supposed to come out. Like, I thought they'd have another Avengers movie before Avengers Doomsday.
No, without spoiling too much, basically what they've done, well, number one, Disney is re-releasing Avengers Endgame prior to Doomsday coming out. And the Russos are making Doomsday a straight-up sequel to Endgame, where you basically didn't have to see the last two phases. This is going to be a sequel to that movie, which is why you saw Steve Rogers as the first thing of Doomsday. So that's
I didn't believe any of those trailers because, I mean, nowadays with all these AI things, like people can make those up. So
there were fakes, but the one with Steve Rogers, where he holds up the suit, blah blah blah, that was legit.
Yeah, where he holds the suit and he holds up a baby.
Yeah.
I may get up early to go see it tomorrow before. I mean, Jennifer might not be up too early, but I might go see it tomorrow just for shits and giggles. But I do want to see the new Avatar because, I mean, for one, aesthetically, visually, the Avatar movies are very stunning. The second movie was a lot better than the first one, in my opinion. It was much better. It was way tighter in the editing. Way better story. It wasn't so preachy. It was actually a straight up war movie. I mean, it starts like that from the jump. I mean, there's a lot of even visually, there's a lot of Apocalypse Now and stuff in it. That the ships coming blurred out of the sun before they kind of focus into the shot. It was a lot of stuff like that. So it was more of a straight up war movie. I'm interested to see what they do with this one. So,
from what I've heard about Avatar 3, it's very similar to the others that you've seen prior, but it's 3 hours long. So,
Critical Drinker beat it up on Twitter, but I was just like, he kind of beats up every movie, and I'm kind of like, when you can't say something good about anything, I don't know how I can trust your opinion about any movie.
Well, you know I'm not necessarily talking about drink. Do you ever watch the Film Threat people or anything where there's more of a wider net where they get on their Friday and Monday shows? They weren't necessarily negative about it. Like Chris Gore, he saw it whenever he talked about it. He basically just said, like, if you've seen Avatar 1 and 2, you've seen this movie, and even visually, it's kind of more of the same. And they've got to the point where the technology is so good, it's kind of distracting, and it kind of pulls you out of it. You're just looking at everything so much. So, I don't know. I'm not going to see it because I don't care, but whatever.
I mean, I was never into Avatar. Like, it was like,
so you're not into creatures that have dicks in their hair and they connect them to animals? You're not into that, case?
No, I'm not into that.
Oh, okay.
But I mean, I'm not gonna knock at people because I like weird stuff. So, Mikhail's here. We'll say hi to Mikhail.
Miguel. Of course, he jumped in right as I had to go make dinner earlier because I was like, I'd have played a game with Miguel, but I was like, okay, you make dinner. And I wanted to watch the first episode of Fallout. I watched the first episode of Fallout while I was eating dinner. So.
Oh yeah, how was that? I heard it. Walton Goggins is more of the star this year. Is that right?
It was a good episode. It was a start to the season. I mean, it puts things in their places for the journey of this season. I mean, there wasn't anything overly special. It does explain a few things. There's a bit more of characters' past that are revealed.
Okay.
You see where Lucy is in her journey. She still is kind of torn between wanting to bring her dad to justice and be the person her dad raised her to be. She's slowly realizing she may not be able to be both. It was a solid first episode. I mean, me and Jeremy are going to break it down on Tuesday. I'll probably get the stream together tomorrow night.
So to say, Jeremy will be the muse that I listen to teach me that shit, because he's got the encyclopedia between his fucking ears. So I'll just listen to him.
He's been studying. He's been doing his reading, getting ready for this.
I'm sure he has a notebook full of gems already. So that'll be.
Yeah, we'll do episode 1 on Tuesday.
I just thought about this. Like for the longest time, the video game movies were always was horrible, right? Like it took forever for a good video game movie or even a video game series. But obviously now that I think they're starting to figure out how to do it right. But do you think nowadays with the video game industry, do you think they if we can do this franchise just right enough that maybe we can make a movie out of it? Do you think that?
I can tell you.
Do you think that's a mind frame that they're into?
It depends on the story. Like, I think making The Last of Us into a series instead of a movie was the right thing to do, because there's a long overarching story that plays out over the course of the game. So you can't take a game that has a huge storyline and a lot that goes on and squeeze it into a 2-hour movie. That's too difficult. I think they realize that. It also depends on the subject matter. Like, they got smart in making Mario Brothers an animated feature as opposed to trying to do a live action thing, because there is no real story in there. Little plumber gets sucked into a crazy world and has to save a princess. That's the entire story. There's nothing to flesh out. So you end up making up a story, and you get that John Leguizamo bullshit from 1990 whatever, and that movie is horrible. But so they make it a kids movie and kind of make it really fluffy and goofy and animated, and that's where the success in that lies. When it comes to Fallout, it's the same thing as Last of Us. There's a lot of story in a big world. So you can't really squeeze that into a 2-hour movie. You have to tell it long form. Also, one of the big differences is the writers of the video games are involved in writing the TV shows. That's been the biggest thing that's been the biggest thing that's made Last of Us a success, is that the writers and creators that were the driving force behind the creativity of the game are one of the people that are behind the driving force of the creativity of the show. So you're not detaching it from the video game as much. Because take fucking Assassin's Creed. Nobody involved in the development of the game was involved in the development of the movies. They were consulted for story stuff, but they weren't brought into the writer's room and they're like, hey, these characters, what would the character do in this situation? They were just like, okay, we're going to ask you how the character dresses, but the rest of it we're all just going to make up. That's why a lot of those video game movies don't do well. If you think about it, Resident Evil, one of the things that made that franchise decent is the fact that there were 212 movies that were made. It was basically 2-hour episodes spread out over 15 years. They dropped one at a time. And so you could have made that, if they would have thought about it at the time and made that into some kind of a limited series. At the time, streaming wasn't really huge when the first one came out, so maybe they wouldn't have had a place for it. HBO maybe, but if you could have made that into a series, I think it would have hit much harder. If you can,
when it comes to Resident Evil, have you ever watched the documentary about how the original Resident Evil movie was going to be made by George Romero? And they actually obviously the original Resident Evil movies that we got with Alice and all that, made by Paul W.S. Anderson, barely have anything to do with the games. Between here's a couple characters you might recognize in an original story. Originally, George Romero had made the first game into a movie in a George Romero way. So they were going to make a different kind of movie. But there's two examples I want to bring up here when it comes to video game films. Let's look at the modern Mortal Kombat live action and the new Street Fighter. One should be a fun movie that is just about fighting, and the other should have been a series and not a film. Street Fighter looks great. I'm sure y'all saw the trailer with Cody Rhodes and Roman Reigns and all of them.
It looks okay. It looks okay. I'm interested.
Street Fighter? is going to be a stupid fun movie with Jason Momoa as Blanca. I cannot wait. David Dastmalchian as M. Bison. I can't wait to see that. I know that's going to be a dumb fun movie. Whereas the new Mortal Kombat, the first one sucked. I can't imagine the second one's going to be any better. The lore in Mortal Kombat is so rich, it needs to be a series, like a Fallout or whatever. How many Mortal Kombat games have there been where there's actual backstory and lineage and everything else? Mortal Kombat needs to be a rated R-like series on Netflix or somewhere where you can expand on it. Not just a movie where you make up a character and, oh, here's Scorpion at the end of the movie and he's his great-great-grandson or whatever the hell that character was. That was so stupid. But, it just depends on the property, like Frank was saying. But it is what it is.
I agree. I enjoyed the original one. And even the second one, it was not good, but
Oh, the first Mortal Kombat is one of the good bad movies of all time. I can put that thing on and laugh my ass off and have a great time watching. I completely agree.
The first one's amusing, but it's not great. It was 90s, you know what I mean?
Yeah, that's what I'm saying.
I thought the first one was great. The second one, where Mortal Kombat Annihilation, was bad, but I still liked it. But and then the modern day one, it was
Cole or whatever his name was. I didn't like it.
It was okay. I was kind of left wanting more, but I was like, I think the Texas Drive thing would probably been more better as a series than a movie, because Mortal Kombat has such a wide story, starting all the way from the beginning, from the first game all the way to now. I mean, there's a story there, and you can't tell that in just one movie, or unless you're going to go through the series, do the movie by the game, 1, 2, 3, and so on and so forth. But they don't have that they don't have that patience to do that, obviously. So
it'll come out. I'll watch it, whether it sucks or not. It's up to them. But I really do got to start to wrap this thing up, guys, because I do got to get out of here. I got to pick my son up from work. But I don't know, Casey, shout your shit out before we get out of here.
I've been doing some gameplays recently, but I got a couple on the back burner. But I released one with Home Alone. I'm doing Clay Fighter 2 for Super Nintendo, but I probably won't be making any more for a little bit until my voice returns. But maybe I'll do AEW next week. I'm not sure, but I'm getting a lot of hits on these shorts I've been doing a lot lately. So.
Yeah, Casey's been contributing to Skynet that's going to cause all of our downfall with this AI bullshit. So, thanks a lot. I'm going to have to call John Connor on your ass.
But text, what do you got, Casey?
No, that's it.
Okay.
That's it.
Text, what are you going to be joining us on a regular basis again? I know we've got... like I said, it's pretty much Fallout and Stranger Things for the rest of the year and into January. Then we'll take our little week or so hiatus to kind of recharge and stuff. Then we'll get back into it. But what do you got going on?
I'm going to try and make it for at least one of the next 3 reviews. I'm assuming you're still going to do one episode of Stranger Things at a time, right? Or are you doing 3 at once?
We're going to do one at a time. And then, so we'll probably be alternating Stranger Things and the Fallout for the next couple of weeks, probably the rest of the year and in January. So
you won't get to the finale review till middle of January.
Probably not. No.
Okay. Well, then in that case, I'll try to make as many of the Stranger Things reviews as possible. No promises because I have to call off of work to do it, and that's hard to do these days. But yeah, I mean, either way, be watching because even if I'm not here to run my fucking mouth, Frank and Jeremy know just as much as I do about this bullshit. So yeah, but I will do my best to be here for Stranger Things reviews. But once again, I do have to encourage y'all to go see The Housemaid. It's, without spoilers, it's basically a 90s style Lifetime channel movie that's full on rated R with blood, violence, gore. It's a slow burn. Now, know that ahead of time. But the second half of the movie is absolutely fantastic and is my favorite movie of the year so far. And probably will be number one because it's already the year. So go see The Housemaid. So.
Oh, wow. So, like, I mean, that must be good because, I mean, it's at the very end of the year.
Well, prior to The Housemaid, Strange Harvest has been my favorite film. It's still number 2, but I had so much fun with The Housemaid. It's not a good movie. Like, it's not going to win any awards, but I fucking loved the movie. It was great. I think you'll have fun with it. So it's worth going to check out.
As for me, I will be back here on Tuesday going over episode 1 of season 2 of Fallout with Jeremy, of course. I'll be starting the stream, and I will be letting him talk for an hour and a half, and then we're going to hit end stream. And that's what it's going to look like when we do Fallout. It's going to be I was going to be like, Jeremy, talk, and then he's just going to go, and I'm going to chime in every now and again and be like,
hey, as you should, because Jeremy is the end all be all as far as Fallout goes. So he knows all. So it's all good.
But thanks to all of you for coming and hanging out tonight. Who we have in here? Tex was in the chat earlier, but then joined us. Stuart McQuaid, our friend from down under. I still have that. I had this. This one has this whole thing full of posters that I have been collecting for him over the course of the last year or so. I'm gonna try to get that in the mail.
Cool.
So I'd like him to have it. Let's see. Who else came in right towards the end? AJ came in towards the end. Van came in towards the end. Mikkel came in towards the end. Thanks to all you guys for coming to hang out, even if it was just for the last few minutes. Do us a favor, go back and watch the first couple hours of the stream, and you can hear us talking all kinds of shit. All kinds of shit. We will see you guys back here on Tuesday to go over Fallout episode 1, season 2. Till then. What a cuck! What a cuck! What a phony! What a follower!
I can't believe Frank brought up Jamie Lee Curtis in my presence.
I did that for you. That's one of the reasons I even picked that whole list, because I was like, this will piss Beck off. Every time
I now like Casey better than I like Frank. I've swapped my rankings. Casey's now better than Frank.
That sounds like a personal problem.
Oh, wow.
They make a cream for that, I'm pretty sure.
And now, folks, it's time to say goodnight. We sincerely appreciate your patronage and hope we've succeeded in bringing you an enjoyable evening of entertainment. Please drive home carefully and come back again soon. Good night.